Chapter 1947. Big Bro, you're really too powerful. You killed that evil woman so quickly. Mu Linger, who was hiding in the distance, was disappointed by Yi Qinfeng's strength. She ran over with a face full of excitement. Since you know how powerful I am, can you tell me in advance what kind of outer-verse arts you've mastered? Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly as he looked at Mu Linger's charming face. Big Bro, don't be in such a rush. As long as you take Linger away, Linger will definitely fulfill her promise. Mu Linger shook her head. All right. Seeing the tight-lipped Mu Linger, Yi Qinfeng sighed softly before taking her further away. About an hour later, Yi Qinfeng saw a large swath of black clouds in front of him. Even the god-devouring brain's powerful deductions couldn't see through the clouds to sense the space beyond. Big Bro, the heavenly Dao steels are hidden in the black clouds. Looking at the black clouds from a distance, the mischievous Mu Linger couldn't help but reveal a solemn expression as she spoke in a low voice. All right, wait for me here. I'll go break through the heavenly Dao steels. Yi Qinfeng nodded and walked alone towards the intimidating black clouds. What a powerful spatial pressure! As he neared the clouds, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt a powerful suppressive force emanating from them that made his steps grow heavy. The spatial pressure grew stronger and stronger, but it didn't affect Yi Qinfeng's steps. As he continuously raised his physical strength to resist the spatial pressure, he walked into the clouds and saw 18 sacred steels floating above them. They were as tall as mountains and emanated powerful Dao intent. The heavenly Dao steels test either pass or die. Inheritor, do you accept the challenge? Yi Qinfeng was enduring the immense spatial pressure as he stared at the heavenly Dao steels when a deep voice rose to Yi Qinfeng's ears. I accept the challenge. Although the 18 heavenly Dao steels were powerful, they were still within Yi Qinfeng's limits. All right, since that's the case, let's begin the trial of the heavenly Dao tablet. As he spoke, the 18 steels of heaven's Dao began to spin rapidly, transforming into a profound polygonal formation that locked onto Yi Qinfeng. At the next moment, the polygonal array diagram shone with a light that was even more dazzling than the sun. An extremely huge light pillar that resembled a waterfall shot out from the array diagram, attacking Yi Qinfeng. 3,000 god-transforming fists break. Yi Qinfeng unleashed all the energy in his body. He instantly blasted out 3,000 fist lights, smashing them into the waterfall like light pillars. The terrifying might of the fist lights shattered the light pillars, and the remaining might of the fist lights slammed into the array diagram formed by the 18 heavenly Dao steels, causing the array diagram to tremble violently. Buzz, buzz, buzz! When the heavenly Dao steels were attacked, a large number of dark golden words appeared on the smooth surface of the mirror-like steels. They fused into the array diagram, increasing the power of the array diagram as it continued to bombard Yi Qinfeng. However, under the continuous attacks of Yi Qinfeng's 3,000 god-transforming fist, the array diagram's light pillars were unable to harm Yi Qinfeng at all. Under the ferocious attacks, the god-devouring brain that was rapidly deducing even captured the flaws of the array diagram. Ancestor class, Sword Soul, break. After locking onto the flaws of the array diagram, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Ancestor class, Sword Soul, to fly out of his soul sea. It turned into a black light in mid-air, stabbing at the flaws of the array diagram at a speed that was dozens of times faster than the speed of light. Ka. Cracks appeared on the surface of the array diagram. Under the attack of the Ancestor class, Sword Soul, the array diagram formed by the 18 heavenly Dao steels nearly shattered. Seizing the opportunity of the array diagram shattering, Yi Qinfeng flew up into the sky and approached the 18 heavenly Dao steels that were hidden above the black clouds. Infinite Primal Chaos. Yi Qinfeng activated the invincible sword body and used his hand as a sword to deliver an invincible strike. As the sword slashed out, the phantom of the chaos divine tree appeared. Together with the invincible sword body, the 4 ultimate Tao diagrams that were rapidly deduced, and a force of more than 1 trillion gene fused together to strike a massive heavenly Tao steel. Boom! The heavenly Tao steel could not withstand the attack of the infinite primal chaos and instantly shattered. But the moment the heavenly Tao steel shattered, the remaining 17 heavenly Tao steels attacked Yi Chunfeng at the same time, wanting to pulverize him. Sword domain break. Yi Chunfeng quickly propped up his sword domain and forcefully weakened the energy released by the 17 heavenly Tao steels. Using the same move, he used the infinite primal chaos to continue attacking the heavenly Tao steels. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening explosions kept ringing out from the chaotic black clouds. Yi Chunfeng was like an invincible god of war. Stepping on the black clouds, he continuously unleashed terrifying divine abilities, bombarding the incomparably tall and sturdy heavenly Tao tablets. In less than 30 breaths' time, 6 heavenly Tao steels were pulverized by Yi Chunfeng. Meanwhile, the greatly weakened formation diagrams were also pierced through by the ancestral sword soul. So strong, so strong. Mu Linger, who was hiding in the distance, looked at Yi Chunfeng with a face full of worship. She was filled with regret at the strength he displayed when he forcibly shattered the heavenly Tao steels. I'm finally going to leave this damned place. When she thought of the colorful world outside, Mu Linger's delicate face couldn't help but reveal an enchanting smile. All of you break for me. Yi Chunfeng raised the power of his celestial domain to its limits. While blocking the attacks of the remaining heavenly Tao steels, he did his best to shatter them one by one. After another 30 breaths' time, only 5 of the 18 heavenly Tao steels remained. The rest were all pulverized by Yi Chunfeng's most powerful attacks. What kind of power is this? Just as Yi Chunfeng was preparing to continue his attacks, the god-devouring brain suddenly sensed the fragments of the heavenly Tao steels rapidly fusing together in the black clouds, as if giving birth to a new life. In its moment of hesitation, the remaining 5 heavenly Tao steels simultaneously attacked Yi Chunfeng. I didn't expect the trial of the heavenly Tao steels to be far from over. Sensing that the life form nurtured by the shattered tablet of heavenly Tao was getting stronger and stronger, Yi Chunfeng guessed that there would be even more dangerous dangers waiting for him. Still, he wasn't afraid, nor did he slow down his attacks, but continued to use the boundless primal chaos and the 3,000 deification fists to bombard the heavenly Tao steels one by one. Finally, under his relentless efforts, all 18 heavenly Tao steels were destroyed by him. But at this moment, an unforeseen event occurred within the black clouds. As the 18 heavenly Tao steels shattered, the energy released from them rapidly converged to form a life form within the black clouds. This life form was very strong, far surpassing Yi Chunfeng's cultivation level to the peak of the 4-star ancestor realm. A spiritual body. Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up when he sensed the 18 heavenly Tao steels shattering to form a spiritual body. Chapter 1948. Inheritor, I'm your final test. As long as you can defeat me within the limited time, you can leave this place and accept the ultimate test. The soul formed by the 18 tablets of Heaven's Tao became clearer and clearer. However, because he didn't have any facial features, his speech was very strange. Ultimate test. This means that after passing this life and death test, there's only the final test left. Yi Chunfeng said, That's right. After passing the life and death test, there's only the final test left. The soul said, However, what you should be thinking about now isn't the final test, but how to defeat me. All right, let's do it then. Although Yi Chunfeng had just shattered the 18 tablets of Heaven's Tao and consumed a lot of energy, Yi Chunfeng's foundation was too deep. He also had the primordial blood, chaos divine wood, god-eater brain, and other heaven-defying items. The soul of the heavenly Tao was no threat to him. It seems that you're very confident in your own strength. However, if you want to pass the test, you have to defeat me within 30 minutes. If you can't do it, you'll be suppressed by the power of the Death Cave and stay here forever. The soul of the heavenly Tao said, 30 minutes. Yi Feng didn't expect that there would be such a harsh requirement to defeat the soul of the heavenly Tao. Come on, 30 minutes is enough. Yi Feng replied domineeringly. The invincible sword physique was fully activated by him. Surges of soaring sword intent gushed out from his body, messing up the space. Arrogant brat, the soul of the heavenly Tao raised its speed to the peak and deduced a powerful Tao. It turned into a stream of light and attacked Yi Feng. Sword domain. As the soul of the heavenly Tao attacked, Yi Feng expanded his sword domain and instantly engulfed the soul of the heavenly Tao. He made use of the sword domain to quickly kill the soul of the heavenly Tao. However, the soul of the heavenly Tao was far more difficult to deal with than Yi Feng had imagined. After being attacked by the sword domain, he instantly transformed into several mirror images. They joined forces to attack the sword domain. Mirror image clone. Seeing the soul of the heavenly Tao splitting into 10 copies, Yi Feng also instantly transformed into 3 mirror images and attacked the soul of the heavenly Tao. Life and death space break. The mirror images created by the heavenly Tao soul were constantly being broken. The mirror image clone did not hesitate to communicate with the life and death space, borrowing the power of the life and death space to attack the sword domain. Boom, boom, boom. Under the attack of the space of life and death, Yi Feng was under tremendous pressure. Cracks began to appear in his sword domain. Sword domain, exterminate. Yi Feng pushed the power of the invincible sword body to the maximum. He controlled the sword area to quickly attack the soul of the Way of the Sky. He wanted to kill the soul of the Way of the Sky before the life and death space destroyed the sword area. However, the power of the space of life and death was too terrifying. Yi Feng's invincible sword body could not withstand the endless attacks of the space of life and death. In the end, it was broken by the space of life and death. Pu. With his domain of swords broken, Yi Feng immediately suffered a backlash. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. Yi Feng was injured, but the heavenly soul's injuries weren't light either. The terrifying sword domain had pierced thousands of holes through his soul, and the mirror images he had transformed into were all shattered by Yi Feng's mirror image doppelganger. You're really a monster. You've actually condensed a complete domain with the strength of a 2-star Tao ancestor. However, it's not that easy to defeat me. After experiencing the terror of the sword domain, the soul of the heavenly Tao no longer took the initiative to attack. Instead, it used its unpredictable speed to stall for time. As long as the time it takes for an incense stick to burn past, Yi Feng would fail the test and be suppressed here forever by the death cave. That's a good idea, but you're a little slow. Yi Feng suddenly sped up the flow of time by 10 times. He stepped onto his sword and flew straight up, unleashing a ferocious attack on the wounded soul of the heavenly Tao. The power of the space of life and death suppress. The soul of the heavenly Tao didn't expect Yi Feng to be so fast. It quickly mobilized the power of the space of life and death to suppress Yi Feng. Chaos Divine Wood, come out. At this time, Yi Feng summoned his fiercest trump card, the Chaos Divine Wood, which emitted the light of the 5 elements of chaos, came out of his body. It kept growing bigger and bigger, holding up heaven and earth, resisting the suppression of the space of life and death. Now, how is this possible? How can you use external force in the space of life and death? Looking at the Chaos Divine Wood, which tore through the power of the space of life and death, the soul of the heavenly Tao showed an expression of disbelief. It could be said that Yi Feng's means were far beyond its imagination. It shocked and terrified it even more. Yi Feng didn't answer the soul of the heavenly Tao. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to sway rapidly, releasing the light of the 5 elements of chaos. It constantly tore through the space of life and death and attacked the soul of the heavenly Tao. The soul of the heavenly Tao's strength was equivalent to a 4-star ancestor realm expert. Because it was a soul body, its defense wasn't strong. It couldn't withstand the light of the 5 elements of chaos at all. It could only continue to transform into afterimages of speed and dodge with all its might, stalling for time. All right, the test can end now. While the soul of the heavenly Tao was dodging with all its might, Yi Chuanfeng controlled the chaos divine with to extend a large number of five-colored roots, forming a prison. While attacking the afterimages of speed, it trapped the soul of the heavenly Tao in the prison and limited its speed. In the next moment, Yi Chuanfeng summoned the God-Eater brain and entered the prison to devour the soul of the heavenly Tao. No, what is this thing? Sensing the danger brought by the God-Eater brain, the soul of the heavenly Tao sensed a deep sense of danger and let out a long cry of horror. At this moment, the God-Eater brain released a powerful devouring force and attacked the heavily injured soul of the heavenly Tao. It frantically devoured his soul body and weakened his strength. Wait, don't devour me. I'll send you out of here to accept the ultimate test. The soul of the heavenly Tao had already developed intelligence and was unwilling to dissipate into the world. He had no choice but to beg for mercy. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Just let me devour you. Yi Chuanfeng was unmoved. He controlled the God-Eater brain to transform into a terrifying, devouring vortex that devoured the soul of the heavenly Tao. No, killing me won't do you any good. I can tell you the secret of the ultimate test. I can tell you how to pass the ultimate test and obtain the ultimate treasure. After being devoured by the God-Eater brain, the soul of the heavenly Tao continued to beg for mercy, tempting Yi Chuanfeng. Not interested. Although no one had passed the Spirit Clan's ultimate test, Yi Chuanfeng was full of confidence in himself. Moreover, he didn't trust the soul of the heavenly Tao. He controlled the God-Eater brain to continue devouring him as nourishment. Space of life and death attack. When the soul of the heavenly Tao saw that Yi Chuanfeng wasn't moved and insisted on devouring him, it didn't hesitate to use the power of the space of life and death to form layers of suppressive force to attack the Chaos Divine Wood. But the Chaos Divine Wood was too terrifying. The power of the space of life and death couldn't harm it at all. After half a stick of incense's time, the struggling soul of the heavenly Tao was completely devoured by the God-Eater brain. Yi Chuanfeng easily passed the soul of the heavenly Tao's test. The God-Eater brain is finally starting to form a child brain. Yi Chuanfeng rejoiced when he sensed the God-Eater brain devouring the soul of the heavenly Tao and slowly forming a child brain. He had a feeling that if the God-Eater brain could form a new child brain, it might have a chance to control the Void Spirit. Crack! The black clouds dispersed to reveal a spatial tunnel at the end of the space of life and death that led to the ultimate test. Mu Linger, let's go. Yi Chuanfeng immediately brought Mu Linger out of the space of life and death to the ultimate test. Chapter 1949. A pagoda, a 10-story pagoda. After entering the final test space, Yi Chuanfeng saw a 10-story pagoda appear before his eyes. The top of the pagoda was inlaid with a giant crystal. The pagoda was engraved with ancient mythological beasts that exuded a divine aura. It was over 100 zhang tall. Beneath the pagoda sat an old man with sparse hair, a face full of wrinkles and spots, and a strong aura of death emanating from his body. Sensing Yi Chuanfeng and Mu Linger's appearance, the old man suddenly opened his turbid eyes to look at them. Inheritor, your previous performance was very stunning. You could be said to be the most stunning person to have received the Spirit Clan's ultimate inheritance in countless years. You should have a chance to pass the final test and obtain the opportunity left behind by I, the old man said slowly. Although the old man spoke softly, his words were like a clap of thunder that exploded in Yi Chuanfeng's ears. Senior, you're the Spirit Clan's ancestor. You left behind all the inheritance grounds in the Spirit Clan's realms? The old man's words created waves in Yi Chuanfeng's heart. He never expected the old man before him to have such a great background. That's right, I'm the Spirit Clan's ancestor, the old man nodded. All the inheritance grounds were set up by me. Senior, I have a question to ask you. Yi Chuanfeng stared at the old man surrounded by the aura of death. If I'm not wrong, Senior should be a half-step void spirit realm cultivator. With Senior's strength, why didn't you help when the spirit clan was destroyed? It wasn't that I didn't want to help, but that I didn't dare. The old man seemed to have guessed Yi Qinfeng's question and continued. Although there are rumors in the celestial domain that the spirit clan was destroyed because of the god clan, that's not the truth. The real reason for the spirit clan's destruction was because of me. Does Senior have something that the celestial clan is jealous of? Yi Qinfeng's eyebrows twitched as he guessed the truth. Junior, you're very smart. The old man nodded and said, my spirit clan was destroyed because the celestial clan wanted to lure me out and obtain the 2 treasures in my hands. Senior, I wonder what kind of treasure you possess to make the Tian clan so jealous. Yi Qinfeng became more and more curious. These 2 treasures are in the Divine Spirit Tower behind me. If you can pass the Divine Spirit Tower's test, you will know what these 2 treasures are. The old man slowly said, however, the trial of the Divine Spirit Pagoda is very difficult. Back then, many geniuses from the Void God world made it here and eventually died inside the pagoda. Senior, may I know what the test of this Divine Spirit Pagoda is? Yi Qinfeng asked. Within a year, reach the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda and complete the 10,000 slaughter. The elder said, 10,000 slaughter. Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly and said, Senior, I wonder how strong the testers in this Divine Spirit Pagoda are. The strength of the Holy Spirit on the first level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda is roughly equivalent to a 4-star Divine level expert. However, other than the 4-star Divine level expert, various natural phenomena will appear in the Divine Spirit Pagoda to attack me. The strength of the Holy Spirit on the 2nd level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda is 1 realm higher than the 1st level, equivalent to a 5-star Divine level expert. And the strength of the Holy Spirit on the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda is equivalent to a 6-star Ancestor realm expert. Other than the Holy Spirit, there are also 20 inheritors who failed the test back then but did not die. They are restricted by the rules. When they discover you, they will kill you at all costs because if they can kill you, they will replace you and regain the qualifications to challenge the Divine Spirit Pagoda. The old man explained in detail. Then, Senior, can I borrow external forces when I challenge the pagoda? Yi Qinfeng never thought that the difficulty of challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda would be so high. Especially the 10th level, it was even more troublesome for him. With his current strength, facing 1,000 6-star Ancestor Realm experts, he could be killed in an instant. The 2 great treasures that I have are no small matter. Only the most outstanding geniuses deserve to have them. Therefore, the conditions for challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda are very harsh. You cannot borrow any external forces. The old man shook his head and said, however, your Chaos Divine Wood is beyond the restraint of the Divine Spirit Pagoda and is not restricted by the rules. Senior, I would like to meditate here for a period of time before challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Is that possible? In order to successfully pass the level and complete the 10,000 slaughter, which no one had ever completed before, Yi Qinfeng decided to raise his strength at all costs. Only by raising his strength to a 3-star Dao Ancestor and using the trump cards that he had, could he possibly complete the challenge. Yes, you have 3 years to meditate. After 3 years, if you still want to meditate, you will have to use 1 year of the time that you challenge the Divine Spirit Pagoda. The old man nodded and said, 3 years is enough. Although 3 years was very short, Yi Qinfeng had the heaven-defying trump card of the Cosmos Realm. In the Cosmos Realm, time flowed 30 times faster, which was equivalent to him having 90 years, which was enough for him to break through to the 3-star Dao Ancestor Realm. Senior, I'm going to meditate. Within 3 years, I will definitely come out. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng entered the 5th level of the Cosmos Realm. He took out a medium-grade Ancestor elixir and swallowed it, quickly refining it. Junior, I hope you can succeed. Otherwise, I may not be able to continue guarding. The old man, who was surrounded by a strong death chi, sighed softly and said in his heart, Although he was a half-step empty god, he was not eternal. After guarding this place for so many years, he was already at the end of his life and was about to reach the end. If no one could pass the ultimate test that he had left behind, all of his plans would be destroyed. He did not know where the two great treasures that he had in his possession would go. The power that the medium-grade ancestor elixir contained was extremely strong. When it rolled into Yi Chunfeng's body, it immediately released a strong energy that flowed through his crisscrossing meridians. Yi Chunfeng used the Chaos Divine Wood to suppress the energy released by the medium-grade ancestor elixir and controlled his body to absorb it quickly, increasing his strength. Soon, 10 years passed. In these 10 years, Yi Chunfeng had refined 2 medium-grade ancestor elixirs and forcibly raised his strength to the limit of a 2-star Dao ancestor. Feeling that the time was right, Yi Chunfeng took out 2 Chaos Divine fruits that contained part of the domain essence and swallowed them. He used the power of the Chaos Divine fruits to break through to the 3-star Dao ancestor realm. The energy contained in the Chaos Divine fruits was purer and stronger than that of the medium-grade ancestor elixir. The 2 Chaos Divine fruits melted in Yi Chunfeng's body and immediately released a strong chaos energy. Under the control of Yi Chunfeng's mind, it began to break through the powerful bottleneck of the cultivation realm. As Yi Chunfeng had directly used elixirs to increase his strength, his cultivation foundation was somewhat unstable. He encountered a lot of trouble when breaking through to the 3-star Dao ancestor realm. However, Yi Chunfeng still had 6 Chaos Divine fruits. 3 of them contained a complete domain essence, which was enough for him to break through to the 3-star Dao ancestor realm in the remaining 80 years. Suppressing his loneliness, Yi Chunfeng constantly stimulated his potential and crazily absorbed the 2 Chaos Divine fruits to break through the bottleneck of the cultivation realm. Very soon, 20 years passed. After 20 years of cultivation, Yi Chunfeng had refined 2 more Chaos Divine fruits that contained part of the domain essence. His body had accumulated a vast amount of chaos energy. Under his perseverance, a large number of cracks appeared on the tough bottleneck of the cultivation realm. He could faintly feel the power of a 3-star Dao ancestor. Phew, it's time to break through. Chapter 1950. Breakthrough. I've finally broken through. The moment he broke through, Yi Chunfeng woke up from his cultivation. Although this breakthrough was too sudden and caused Yi Chunfeng's cultivation foundation to be unstable, he believed that challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda would allow him to train well and consolidate his cultivation foundation. Senior, I can start the challenge now. Yi Chunfeng consolidated his realm and left the universe realm, arriving in front of the old man. 3-star Dao ancestor. Sensing Yi Chunfeng's realm, the old man's eyes lit up. Successor, you're more outstanding than I imagined. I hope you can succeed. The old man revealed a rare smile and formed several complicated hand seals to open the heavy door of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Don't worry, Senior. I'll definitely pass and complete the 10,000 slaughter. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and turned into a stream of light as he flew into the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Rumble! Yi Chunfeng had just entered the first level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda when he heard the deafening sound of thunder. A large amount of lightning appeared without warning and bombarded Yi Chunfeng with terrifying destructive power. After breaking through to the 3-star Dao ancestor realm, Yi Chunfeng's physical body was even stronger. The violent lightning formed by the first level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda could not hurt him at all. Yi Chunfeng flew away at an extremely fast speed as he endured the attacks of the extremely destructive lightning bolts. After flying for a short while, he discovered a large number of sacred spirits in front of him. They were holding various divine weapons and wearing battle armor, exuding a terrifying aura. In addition to these sacred spirits, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, also felt the power of the array formation in the Divine Spirit Pagoda. So these sacred spirits were not formed by the Divine Spirit Pagoda alone. They were formed by fusing the array formation and tens of thousands of sacred crystals. The God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, discovered the secret of the divine spirit pagoda. The discovery of this secret was crucial to Yi Chenfeng. When he entered the 10th level of the divine spirit pagoda, he could use this secret to weaken the power of the 6-star ancestor realm sacred spirits and complete the 10,000 slaughter that no one had ever completed before. Kill. In order to conserve his strength, Yi Chenfeng did not ignite his grand mist blood or activate his invincible sword body. Instead, he erupted with over 400 billion genes of strength and charged forward like an enraged ancient beast. Pung pung pung. Although there were many holy spirits in the first level of the divine spirit pagoda, a 4-star deity realm strength was not enough to pose any threat to Yi Chenfeng. Any holy spirit that approached Yi Chenfeng's body would be crushed by his powerful physical body. Rumble. While Yi Chenfeng was crazily killing, a black cloud suddenly appeared above his head. A large amount of lightning broke through the black cloud, carrying a terrifying destructive power, continuously attacking Yi Chenfeng's body. Ancestral sword soul break. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng's ancestral sword soul flew out of his soul sea and instantly transformed into a black streak that was dozens of feet long. The sword had split open the dark clouds that were filled with a large amount of lightning energy and destroyed the heavenly anomaly. Without the heavenly anomaly's attack, Yi Chenfeng's killing speed was even faster. Very soon, the 1,000 holy spirits that had swarmed towards Yi Chenfeng like a tidal wave had their bodies smashed into smithereens by Yi Chenfeng. Kacha! When Yi Chenfeng killed the 1,000 holy spirits, a spatial crack appeared in the chaotic void. While enduring the powerful spatial pressure, Yi Chenfeng arrived at the 2nd level of the divine spirit pagoda. Yellow sand, endless yellow sand. After entering the 2nd level of the divine spirit pagoda, Yi Chenfeng realized that there was an endless yellow sand in front of him. In the yellow sand, there were 5 poison beasts that contained deadly poison. True spirit, sacred flame. Looking at the 5 poison beasts that were emitting poisonous gas, Yi Chenfeng immediately spat out the extremely hot true spirit, sacred flame, melting the 5 poison beasts that were close to him. While Yi Chenfeng was frantically melting the 5 poison beasts, he suddenly felt a powerful spatial pressure appear in the void. Looking up, he saw a towering mountain appear in the sky. It shook the space in a radius of several miles and ruthlessly pressed down. Looking at the approaching mountain that was enough to crush an ordinary divine realm expert into a meat patty, Yi Chenfeng's expression didn't change. He controlled his ancestral sword soul to meet it head-on and split the mountain in half. After the mountain shattered, a large number of 5-star divine realm holy spirits emerged from the shattered mountain. They held all kinds of divine weapons in their hands and launched a ferocious attack at Yi Chenfeng. Dragon subduing pillar. Yi Chenfeng relied on his powerful physical defense to withstand the oncoming attacks. He instantly condensed 9 stone pillars that had giant dragons coiling around them. Although the dragon's subduing pillars grade was extremely low, Yi Chenfeng had comprehended 4 ancestral realm Dao insights. When he derived the 4 ultimate Dao diagrams to the extreme, the dragon subduing pillar that he condensed was enough to suppress the heavens and earth. It shattered the bodies of the 5-star divine spirits that were close to him. After condensing the dragon's subduing pillar and killing more than 300 5-star divine spirits at lightning speed, Yi Chenfeng continued to advance. He killed the divine spirit experts that emerged from the yellow sand and tried to sneak up on him. In just over 2 hours, Yi Chenfeng had killed 1,000 5-star divine spirits on the 2nd floor of the divine spirit tower and entered the 3rd floor. What a fast speed! The old man had been paying attention to Yi Chenfeng as he challenged the tower. When the old man realized that Yi Chenfeng had used less than 4 hours to enter the 3rd floor, he revealed a trace of shock. He was shocked by the speed at which Yi Chenfeng killed his enemies. What high temperature! After entering the 3rd floor of the Divine Spirit Tower, Yi Chenfeng realized that there was boiling lava on both sides of him. The entire space was distorted by the heat emitted from the lava. Pung, 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 pung. Yi Chen-feng stepped in the middle of the lava. When he advanced on the only stone path, huge fireballs emerged from the boiling lava. They were like flaming meteors with long tails as they attacked Yi Chen-feng. When Yi Chen-feng exploded with nearly 1 trillion pounds of strength and waved his fist to shatter the fireballs, 6-star divine realm divine spirits suddenly emerged from the shattered fireballs and attacked Yi Chen-feng with extreme speed. Although the attacks of the divine spirits hidden in the fireballs were sudden, Yi Chen-feng had already sensed the danger with the God-Eater brain's senses and attacked in advance. As streaks of extremely sharp sword light shot out from his body, the 6-star divine realm divine spirits that tried to sneak up on him were directly split apart by the sharp sword light. Their bodies dissipated in the air. Sword steps. The intertwining sharp sword light killed the divine spirits that tried to sneak up on him. Yi Chen-feng controlled the ancestral sword spirit and fused it into his body as he walked with the sword steps. Under the amplification of the ancestral sword soul, every step he took, a profound sword diagram would form under his feet. It continuously pierced through and killed the 6-star god realm holy spirits that had jumped out of the lava and ambushed him. Powerful. This inheritor is more powerful than I imagined. I really want to know how great his potential is. In order to clearly witness the process of Yi Chen-feng's breakthrough, the old man didn't hesitate to form a light mirror to observe Yi Chen-feng's every move. When he saw Yi Chen-feng with his hands behind his back and leisurely walking with the sword steps and killing the divine spirits that try to sneak up on him, he started to value Yi Chen-feng even more. About 4 hours later, Yi Chen-feng walked with the sword steps and arrived at the end of the stone path that was scorched red by the lava. Along the way, he controlled the profound sword diagram and killed 999 6-star divine realm divine spirits. There is only one divine spirit that was hiding at the end of the stone path. Chapter 1951. Screech. Seeing Yi Chen-feng walk over step by step, the 6-star godly realm holy spirit that had just gained intelligence let out a ghostly cry. However, Yi Chen-feng's strength was too terrifying, so he didn't dare to take the initiative to attack. Instead, he hid behind the white skeleton. Don't hide, it's useless. Yi Chen-feng took a step forward, and the power of sword Dao gushed out from his body. It instantly transformed into a 3-meter-long divine sword that was entwined with Dao intent like chains of order. It slashed toward the last 6-star godly realm holy spirit. However, the moment Yi Chen-feng attacked the 6-star godly realm holy spirit, a powerful death energy suddenly surged out from the white skeleton that had been dead for an unknown number of years. It transformed into a large black hand that grabbed at Yi Chen-feng without any warning. Yi Chen-feng raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect the lifeless white skeleton to take the initiative to attack. However, his reaction was extremely fast. He threw a punch at the black hand that was grabbing at him. More than 400 billion kilograms of strength surged out and directly destroyed the black hand. It slammed into the white skeleton and shattered the white skeleton that was flowing with light. The last 6-star godly realm holy spirit also died under the 3-meter-long divine sword. Kacha! After destroying the white skeleton and the last 6-star godly realm holy spirit, the spatial entrance immediately appeared. Yi Chen-feng didn't hesitate at all. He endured the powerful spatial pressure and quickly charged into the 4th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. After fusing the array and a large amount of pure saint crystals, the Holy Spirit on the 4th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda had the strength of a half-ancestor. Such a terrifying power, if placed in the outside world, would be enough to sweep away all the forces in the heaven region. Forest, the 4th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, is actually a forest. Looking at the vast and boundless forest in front of him, Yi Chen-feng didn't stop. He stepped on the scattered branches on the ground and walked into the forest step by step. Not long after, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, sensed danger approaching. An old face appeared on the ancient trees, which were hundreds of feet tall and required 7 or 8 people to wrap their arms around them. When these aged faces opened their eyes at the same time, they released world-shaking roars at Yi Chun-Feng that could shatter boulders, attacking him from all directions. Sonic attack. Suddenly, Yi Chun-Feng was attacked by the sound waves released by the ancient trees. Immediately, he controlled the powerful spatial power to form layers upon layers of spatial seals around him, blocking off the earth-shattering sound waves. Following that, the continuously evolving God-Eater brain rapidly deduced, forming an even more powerful sound of the great Tao, attacking the awakened ancient trees. Under the attack of the sonorous voice of the great Tao, the awakened ancient trees shattered one after another. The space around Yi Chun-Feng turned into a vacuum, without a single ancient tree. After releasing the sound of the great Tao and shattering the ancient trees that were attacking him, Yi Chun-Feng didn't slow down and continued forward. Not long after, his sharp senses sensed danger again. One after another, the half-ancestor holy spirits hidden in the ancient trees appeared, wielding extremely sharp divine weapons, and attacked Yi Chun-Feng. Ancestor Sword Spirit Destroy. With a thought, the ancestor sword spirit flew out of Yi Chun-Feng's soul sea. Like an angry black dragon, it unceasingly destroyed the attacks of the half-ancestor holy spirits, turning them into lumps of light mist. Under the attack of the ancestral sword soul, the half-martial ancestor sacred spirit on the 4th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda couldn't stop Yi Chun-Feng at all. Similarly, the continuously awakening spirit of the ancient couldn't threaten Yi Chun-Feng. Very soon, Yi Chun-Feng crazily massacred all the holy spirits on the 4th floor like a hot knife through butter. He tore open a space entrance and entered the 5th floor. In less than a day, you have reached the 5th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. This speed should have broken the record for the fastest tower challenge. The old man's eyes lit up. The anticipation on his face became even stronger. However, the true test begins from the 5th floor of the Tower of Trials. I hope you can create a miracle. Lake, what a huge lake! After entering the 5th floor of the Tower of Trials, Yi Chun-Feng saw a huge lake appear in front of him. Incomparably huge, strange fish jumped out of the lake from time to time, creating huge splashes on the surface of the lake. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. The first 5 floors of the Divine Spirit Pagoda contain the Tao intent of the 5 elements. I wonder what kind of phenomena will appear later on. Yi Chun-Feng muttered to himself. He flew up into the sky and appeared on the surface of the huge lake. When he flew to the center of the lake with extreme speed, a bone-chilling cold air gushed out from the surface of the lake and froze Yi Chun-Feng. A large amount of ice quickly spread on the surface of his body. PFFF. 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 Yi Chun-Feng slightly exerted force and shattered the ice that froze his body. At this time, incomparably sharp water spears broke out from the surface of the lake and attacked him with extreme speed. At the same time, Yi Chun-Feng was attacked by the water spears. 1-star ancestor realm holy spirits broke out from the surface of the lake and attacked Yi Chun-Feng from all sides. They wanted to kill Yi Chun-Feng, who had trespassed into their territory. Divine Ability Tyrant Kick. Yi Chun-Feng fiercely stepped out. The terrifying jumbo footprint carried the force of hundreds of millions of kilograms as it ruthlessly stomped on the attacking ancestor realm holy spirits. The terrifying force directly crushed the ancestor realm holy spirits. The difficulty has indeed increased by a lot. Feeling that the difficulty of challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda had increased by more than 10 times, Yi Chun-Feng was no longer as relaxed as he was at the beginning. He summoned his ancestor realm Sword Soul and controlled it to attack the densely packed ancestor realm holy spirits that had appeared on the surface of the lake. While Yi Chun-Feng was crazily slaughtering on the 5th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, a monstrous wave suddenly surged on the Dead Sea. And in the center of the wave was a man who was completely enveloped in sacred light. His entire body was one with the world. What secret is hidden in this Dead Sea? The man floated above the Dead Sea and stared at the vast and boundless Dead Sea as he muttered to himself. In the next moment, the man took a step forward. With a single step, the entire Dead Sea surged with monstrous waves. A crack that stretched for an unknown distance spread into the distance at a speed that was difficult to discern with the naked eye, as if it wanted to tear the entire Dead Sea apart. All the demon beasts in the Dead Sea that haven't died quickly come out. Tearing apart the endless Dead Sea with a single step, the man let out a dignified and irresistible voice. In the next moment, the demon beasts that were hiding in the depths of the Dead Sea emerged one after another. They popped out their incomparably huge heads and looked at the man who was enveloped in sacred light in horror, trembling. "Tell me, did a human enter the Dead Sea not long ago?" The man questioned sternly, "What other secrets are hidden in the Dead Sea?" Replying to heavenly man, "A human did come to the Dead Sea not long ago, but he was too fast. We don't know where he went, and we don't know what opportunities are hidden in the Dead Sea." A huge dragon-headed turtle said fearfully, "Forget it, it's useless to ask you. Let me search your souls." The man said impatiently. He used a great divine ability to restrict the terrifying demon beasts that popped out one by one and forcefully searched their souls. You don't know. After searching their souls, the man didn't obtain much valuable information. He frowned slightly, waved his arm, and shattered the terrifying demon beasts one by one before walking into the Dead Sea. When he walked into the Dead Sea, the raging waves rolled violently. A vacuum appeared around him, and not a single drop of water dared to approach him. A great enemy had arrived. Chapter 1952. Die! Yi Chunfeng roared as the sword intent in his body instantly condensed, transforming into a crescent sword arc. With a long sword tail, he killed the last one-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirit on the 5th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, opening the exit to the 6th floor. Boo-hoo! After forcefully killing 1,000 one-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits, Yi Chunfeng had expended a lot of energy. His entire body felt like it was about to collapse as the surface of his body was covered in wounds. Large amounts of blood flowed out, dyeing his clothes red. Due to the severe depletion of his ancestral power, Yi Chunfeng immediately recuperated at the end of the 5th floor, recovering his ancestral power. In about 3 days, Yi Chunfeng had recovered his ancestral power and injuries. He passed through the spatial exit and entered the even more dangerous 6th floor. Rumble, rumble! Endless thunder echoed in Yi Chunfeng's ears. As far as the eye could see, the 6th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda was like a lightning prison. Endless lightning bolts constantly fell from the void, bombarding the entire ground. Under the bombardment of the lightning bolts, the ground of the 6th floor was filled with electric currents. They were like electric snakes that attacked the ground. Invincible sword body. The holy spirits on the 6th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda had reached the 2-star Ancestor Realm. They brought quite a bit of trouble to Yi Chunfeng. He didn't dare to be careless, as he quickly activated the invincible sword body and endured the attacks of the lightning bolts as he walked towards the 6th floor. Not long after, he discovered that a huge rock that was dozens of feet tall appeared in front of him. It was constantly swallowing the lightning bolts. Through the God-Eater brain's senses, he sensed a powerful life aura from the rock. Just as he was staring at the rock that was swallowing the lightning bolts, a dark purple lightning bolt suddenly broke out of the rock. It was like an angry dragon that attacked Yi Chunfeng. Ancestor-level sword soul break. As the dark purple lightning struck, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned his ancestor-level sword soul to meet it. He broke through the dark purple lightning with a single sword strike and slashed at the huge rock without any reduction in power. Ka-ka-ka. Under the attack of the progenitor sword soul, cracks appeared on the rock. A shriveled old man dressed in animal skin flew out of the rock. His hair was messy like a bird's nest, and he attacked Yi Chunfeng with a powerful progenitor's might. 3-star Ancestor. Sensing the strength of the old man, Yi Chunfeng guessed his identity. However, he did not show any mercy. Activating the invincible sword physique, A surge of sword intent gushed out from his body, crushing the layers of heavenly lightning. It was like a resplendent heavenly river, ruthlessly slashing toward the old man. Pooh! Under the attack of the invincible sword body, the old man's attack, which was condensed by the endless wild thunder, was broken. His shriveled body was also sent flying by this sword, falling hundreds of meters away. A large amount of blood flowed out from his body. After experiencing the terror of Yi Chen-feng, this old man, whose body was almost split in half, suddenly gave up on Yi Chen-feng and fled towards the depths of the Thunder Prison. Where do you think you're going? A virtual light flashed under Yi Chen-feng's feet. He stepped on the sword steps and chased closely behind. Rumble. Just as he closed the distance between him and the old man, endless thunder rumbled around him. A large number of two-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits hidden in the Thunder Prison appeared, holding lightning weapons in their hands and attacking Yi Chen-feng. Invincible Sword Physique, annihilate all laws. Facing the sudden attack, Yi Chen-feng constantly activated the Invincible Sword Physique, bursting out destructive sword light, forcibly breaking the attacks launched by the two-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. In the next moment, Yi Chen-feng ignited his primordial bloodline, instantly raising his strength to that of a four-star Dao Ancestor. He erupted with nearly 1 trillion gene of strength and attacked the surrounding Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. Bang, bang, bang. Under Yi Chen-feng's all-out attack, the bodies of the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits exploded one after another, and the entire Thunder Prison fell into chaos. While Yi Chen-feng was crazily slaughtering the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits, the old man, who was seriously injured and had fled, suddenly turned back. He erupted with the lightning power his body had devoured for hundreds of thousands of years and launched a fatal attack at Yi Chen-feng. Godless Sword. The old man transformed into a wave of lightning and attacked. Yi Chen-feng immediately controlled his Ancestor Realm Sword Soul to transform into a black divine sword. When he held the divine sword in his hand, the light in the entire space was instantly swallowed by the black divine sword, and the light in the entire space dimmed. With a thrust of the sword, heaven and earth became godless. The terrifying godless sword cut through the entire space, carrying with it a disdainful sword power. The sword tore through the roaring lightning and split the old man's body into two halves, killing him on the spot. After slashing at the old man, Yi Chen-feng immediately turned back and attacked the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits behind him. With a single slash, he killed more than 10 Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits that wanted to sneak up on him. A merciless massacre took place on the 6th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Yi Chen-feng held the divine sword formed by his Ancestor Realm Sword Soul and constantly killed the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits that appeared. However, his crazy massacre attracted almost all the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits on the 6th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Attacks that blotted out the sky and covered the earth crazily attacked his body, worsening his injuries. If it wasn't for the invincible sword body being strong enough, Yi Chen-feng wouldn't have been able to withstand such a terrifying and concentrated attack. Kill! 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 In order to save time, Yi Chen-feng didn't retreat. He was like a killing machine that didn't know exhaustion as he crazily killed. At the end of the massacre, Yi Chen-feng, whose injuries were getting worse, opened up his sword domain to reduce the pressure on his body. In the end, Yi Chen-feng only used a little more than a day to kill 1,000 two-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits on the 6th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Such a terrifying killing speed completely stunned the old man guarding outside, causing him to be unable to calm down for a long time. Amazing. This inheritor is really too amazing. In just 5 days, he passed the first 6 floors of the Divine Spirit Pagoda's test. Junior, I hope you can really pass all the tests. Then I can die in peace. The old man was looking forward to Yi Chen-feng's following performance. He thought more and more highly of him. After the crazy massacre, Yi Chen-feng's injuries were also very serious. However, he didn't feel tired after burning his primordial bloodline. He simply adjusted his breathing and passed through the spatial entrance, entering the 7th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. As the Holy Spirits became stronger, the pressure on him also increased. In order to buy more time to tangle with the Holy Spirits on the last 2 floors of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chen-feng had to race against time and save as much time as possible. Otherwise, he would still fail when the 1-year deadline was up. Snow. It was snowing heavily all over the place. After stepping onto the 7th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chen-feng saw that it was a world of ice and snow. Although the world of ice and snow didn't affect Yi Chen-feng much, it was very easy to hide in the snow. This greatly increased the chances of the 3-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits launching a sneak attack on Yi Chen-feng. Come out, all of you. Stop hiding. Yi Chen-feng didn't conceal his aura. Instead, he directly flew into the sky above the world of ice and snow and spoke in a domineering voice. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After being provoked by Yi Chen-feng, the 3-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits hidden in the thick snow revealed themselves. They mobilized powerful cold air and attacked Yi Chen-feng. 3,000 God-transforming fists. Dozens of 3-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits attacked with powerful cold air. Yi Chen-feng immediately blasted out the 3,000 God-transforming fists. It was like a meteor shower that descended from the sky and met them head-on. Although the Holy Spirits in the Divine Spirit Pagoda were powerful, their defensive power was very weak. They were far inferior to the almighty experts of various clans. Under the attack of Yi Chen-feng's supreme divine ability and the 3,000 God-transforming fists, the dozens of 3-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits instantly exploded into clouds of cold air that drifted away with the wind. After killing dozens of Holy Spirits with one strike, a large number of Holy Spirits flew toward Yi Chen-feng and launched fierce attacks on him. From afar, the densely packed Holy Spirits were like moths to a flame. They attacked Yi Chen-feng without any regard for their lives. They were determined to kill him. Yi Chen-feng didn't retreat even after enduring the attacks of nearly 1,000 Holy Spirits. He opened up his sword domain and continuously blasted out supreme divine abilities to kill the remaining Holy Spirits. Time also passed by in this frenzied slaughter. The frenzied slaughter became more and more intense. Yi Chen-feng's injuries also continued to worsen in the midst of this frenzied slaughter. Under his relentless attacks, the number of Holy Spirits on the 7th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda decreased. Chapter 1953. 10 days later, Yi Chen-feng healed his injuries and adjusted his condition to its peak. He passed through the spatial entrance and entered the 8th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. The Holy Spirits in the 8th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda possess the strength of a 4-star Ancestor Realm. They pose an extremely great challenge to Yi Chen-feng. He also did not dare to think about provoking all the Holy Spirits in the entire space without the slightest scruple like before. He could only choose the strategy of defeating them one by one. Wind, what a strong wind! Entering the 8th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chen-feng discovered that the entire space was swept up by an endless gale, kicking up endless yellow sand, blocking his line of sight. Although fighting in the gale space would affect his combat power to a certain extent, it was beneficial to his strategy of defeating them one by one. Swoosh! Yi Chen-feng's figure flashed slightly and merged into the gale. He restrained his aura and advanced like a ghost. There are 3 Holy Spirits over there. Although the Holy Spirits concealed themselves very well under the God-Eater Brain's perception, there was nowhere to hide. Yi Chen-feng easily discovered the 3 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits hiding in the gale. Stun Art. With a thought from Yi Chen-feng, a powerful soul force erupted, forming a terrifying stun art, bombarding the 3 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. Buzz! 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 Being attacked by Yi Chen-feng's stun art, the consciousness of the 3 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits trembled. In the next moment, the Ancestor-level sword Soul flew out under Yi Chen-feng's control, easily breaking through the defense and splitting the bodies of the 3 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits apart. After killing the 3 ancestor realm holy spirits in one strike, Yi Qinfeng followed the hurricane that engulfed heaven and earth and disappeared into the distance, searching for the next target. Very soon, he discovered several more ancestor realm holy spirits and repeated the same trick, using the same method to kill them one by one. Day after day passed. Yi Qinfeng was like a killer as he roamed the 8th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, using unfathomable killing techniques to constantly kill 4-star ancestor realm holy spirits. When Yi Qinfeng had killed more than 300 4-star progenitor realm holy spirits in 10 days or so, 2 old women with snow-white hair and wrinkled faces who resembled each other and seemed to be sisters noticed Yi Qinfeng's presence. Next, the 2 of them let out 2 ear-piercing screams that alarmed the 8th level of the Divine Spirit Tower. Inheritor, give me your life. In order to obtain the right to challenge the Divine Spirit Tower again, the 2 white-haired old women flew into the sky and used the powerful hurricane power to attack Yi Qinfeng. 2 5-star heavenly ancestors. Sensing the strength of the 2 white-haired old women, Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. He was shocked that the old guard outside actually allowed the people of the Tian clan to challenge the Divine Spirit Tower. Despite his shock, he did not slow down his attacks. He took a step forward and activated the sword territory, instantly shattering the attacks of the 2 white-haired old women and engulfing them in the sword territory. Territory. This is the power of a territory. You're not a virtual god. How can you control the power of a territory? The 2 white-haired old women were shocked and said in disbelief, "Sword territory, kill." Yi Qinfeng did not waste time with them. He controlled the sword territory to kill the 2 white-haired old women, wanting to kill them before a large number of holy spirits surrounded them. Although the sword territory was powerful, the 2 white-haired old women's strength was equally terrifying. They used all their skills to desperately resist the sword territory's attack and stall for time. Ancestor-level Sword Soul Destroy. Yi Qinfeng controlled the Ancestor-level Sword Soul to break into the sword territory and merged with the power of the sword territory to attack the 2 white-haired old women. The 2 of them were already struggling to resist the sword territory. Now that they were attacked by the Ancestor-level Sword Soul, it was even more difficult to resist. In an instant, the 2 of them were pierced by the Ancestor-level Sword Soul and were killed by the sword territory. Not good. Although he had killed the 2 white-haired old women, he had also exposed his whereabouts and was surrounded by hundreds of ancestor-level holy spirits. Helpless, Yi Qinfeng could only summon the Chaos Divine Wood and raise his combat strength to the limit. He faced the tide of holy spirits and fought fiercely with them. The holy spirits on the 8th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda had reached the 4-star ancestor realm, which was far beyond Yi Qinfeng's own realm. Facing the simultaneous attack of hundreds of holy spirits, Yi Qinfeng was under great pressure and encountered great trouble. Even if he opened the sword territory, he could not withstand the simultaneous attack of hundreds of holy spirits. Cracks appeared on the surface of the sword territory, causing Yi Qinfeng to bear great pressure. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. Chaos Divine Wood, break for me. His injuries continued to worsen. Yi Qinfeng forcefully suppressed the heavy injuries on his body and controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to attack fiercely. The Chaos 5 Elements light swayed as he forcefully tore open a gap in the overlapping holy spirits and fled into the distance in a sorry state. Yi Qinfeng fled with all his might as a large number of holy spirits chased after him. While fleeing, Yi Qinfeng deliberately slowed down and controlled the ancestor-level Sword Soul to attack fiercely, constantly killing the holy spirits that were chasing after him. Sigh, now that I've reached the 9th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, I have to change my strategy. I'll first kill the inheritors on the 9th floor who haven't died, then slowly deal with the holy spirits. Otherwise, if I'm chased by 1,000 5-star ancestor realm holy spirits, no matter how deep my foundation is, I'm afraid it will end in a tragedy. Yi Qinfeng muttered in his heart in a sorry state. Although he was in a sorry state on the 8th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, the lesson this time was a wake-up call for him. It was not a bad thing for him. Time passed day by day, and soon a month had passed. In this 1 month's time, Yi Chunfeng, who was fleeing and killing crazily, had successfully killed close to 900 holy spirits. However, as the Grand Mist Bloodline's amplification effect disappeared for a period of time, Yi Chunfeng suffered heavy injuries. His physical body was severely injured. It's time to fight to the death with all of you. Looking at the remaining 100 over 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits, Yi Chunfeng once again ignited his Grand Mist Bloodline and opened his powerful sword domain to meet the Holy Spirits head-on, engaging them in a fierce battle. Although there were only slightly over 100 Holy Spirits left on the 8th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, due to their terrifying strength, they still brought a lot of trouble to Yi Chunfeng. However, under the attacks of the Chaos Divine Wood and Sword Domain, the 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits were annihilated one after another. In the midst of the frenzied slaughter, Yi Chunfeng's injuries became more and more serious. 3,000 transforming God's fist. One sword without gods. Boundless chaos. Yi Chunfeng ignored his injuries and repeatedly used supreme divine abilities to attack the 4-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits with all his might. Finally, he used almost all his trump cards and finally killed all the Holy Spirits on the 8th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, opening the path to the 9th floor. Huff! Huff! Yi Chunfeng, who was riddled with injuries, glanced at the cracked space exit. His body went limp and fell to the cracked ground, panting heavily with lingering fear. Although Yi Chunfeng's injuries were very serious, the month of life and death tempering had completely eliminated the pill poison in his body and strengthened his cultivation foundation. In 2 months, he passed the challenge of the first 8 floors of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Such a battle record is really terrifying. Through the mirror image, looking at the severely injured Yi Chunfeng lying on the ground, the old man shook his head and sighed with emotion. Chapter 1954. So bright. After entering the 9th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the entire 9th level was illuminated by a blinding light. The light was so bright that he could not open his eyes. Space of light. Yi Chunfeng did not expect the 9th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda to be a space of light. He revealed a grave expression. This was because the space of light greatly increased the difficulty of his concealment. After thinking for a while, Yi Chunfeng immediately split into 3 mirror avatars. He planned to use the mirror avatars to attract the attention of the 9th level Saint Spirit and create an opportunity for himself to kill. I wonder how many inheritors are still alive on the 9th level. Yi Chunfeng hid under a huge boulder as he controlled the God-Eater brain to rapidly deduce and sense the inheritors on the 9th level. The God-Eater brain had devoured a large number of souls and heavenly Tao souls. It was on the verge of transformation, and its perception was even stronger. Yi Chunfeng carefully moved as he controlled the God-Eater brain to move at the edge of the 9th level. After several days of sensing, he was basically certain that there were 4 inheritors on the 9th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda who had not died back then. Among the 4, 2 of them had reached the 6-star Progenitor Realm, while the remaining 2 were at the peak of the 5-star Progenitor Realm. Let's kill these 4 first. After confirming the location of the 4, Yi Chunfeng immediately came up with a plan to assassinate them. He quietly lurked and approached one of the peak 5-star Progenitor Realm experts. Yi Chunfeng's body flowed with mirage blood, so his concealment ability was extremely strong. He concealed his aura and crawled in the space of light for more than an hour before approaching the motionless white-haired old woman who was sitting cross-legged under an ancient tree like a statue. Vertigo art. As he approached the white-haired old woman, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce at an extremely fast speed, forming a strong dizziness. He ruthlessly bombarded the white-haired old woman's soul sea, causing her brain to temporarily lose consciousness. Although the white-haired old woman regained consciousness in a short period of time, this short pause was fatal. Yi Chunfeng burned his primordial blood and activated his invincible sword body, instantly raising his attack power to the limit. With an ancestor-level sword soul in hand, he stabbed at the white-haired old woman. She, unable to dodge in time, the white-haired old woman's defense was broken. The terrifying ancestral sword soul directly tore through her body, cleaving her in half. Her soul was instantly crushed, and she died on the spot. After successfully assassinating the white-haired old woman, Yi Chunfeng did not linger. He immediately fled and approached his next target. After around a day or so, Yi Chunfeng, who was slowly approaching like a venomous snake, had launched a sure kill strike at another peak 5-star Ancestor Realm expert. Following that, a painful muffled roar sounded. A peak 5-star Ancestor Realm Major Power was insta-killed by Yi Chunfeng with one sword, dying on the spot. Few success. After successfully killing 2 people, Yi Chunfeng immediately fled and approached his next target. It was easy to assassinate a peak 5-star Ancestor Realm expert, but it was very difficult to assassinate a 6-star Ancestor Realm expert. This was because the defense that trapped the Inheritor in the Divine Spirit Pagoda was not something the Sacred Spirit Pagoda could compare to. Furthermore, to be able to reach the 9th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, it was enough to show that his talent and strength were astonishing, and he also possessed a powerful trump card. Furthermore, if Yi Chunfeng failed in the assassination, it was very likely that he would alert the enemy, and the consequences would be too severe. Opportunity. I have to wait for the best opportunity. Yi Chunfeng concealed his aura and slowly approached the 6-star Ancestor Realm Major Power, who was sitting cross-legged under a huge boulder. His entire body seemed to have fused with the boulder, and there was no distinction between them. Stone Tribe Major Power. With the God-Eater brain senses, Yi Chunfeng discovered that the old man before him was very likely to be a Stone Tribe Major Power. Although the Stone Tribe was not fast, their attack and defense were extremely shocking, especially their defense, which was even more terrifying. To penetrate the Stone Tribe Major Power's defense, one had to possess extremely powerful attack power. After locking onto his target, Yi Chunfeng was not in a hurry to make a move. He concealed his aura and hid in the dark, observing the Stone Tribe Major Power through the God-Eater brain, looking for the best opportunity to assassinate him. 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, 6 days, Yi Chunfeng hid in the dark, not moving at all, patiently waiting for an opportunity. Finally, after waiting for about 7 days, he felt a subtle change in the Stone Tribe Major Power's body. Capturing this subtle change, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, released a powerful soul power, forming a heavy hammer of dizziness that ruthlessly smashed into the Stone Tribe Major Power's soul sea. Godless Sword. When Yi Chunfeng blasted out the dizziness technique, his entire body transformed into an invincible divine sword. With a sword, he tore through space and evolved an invincible Tao intent, stabbing into the Stone Tribe Major Power's body, forcibly tearing through his body's defense and piercing through his body. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng opened up his invincible sword intent and controlled a powerful domain power to attack the Stone Tribe Major Power. He borrowed the domain power to shatter his body, killing him on the spot. When Yi Chunfeng instantly killed the Stone Tribe Major Power, it alarmed the 4 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits nearby. Without waiting for them to launch an attack, the extremely fast Yi Chunfeng controlled his ancestral sword soul to attack while evolving in extreme sword light, instantly killing the 4 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits whose defenses were not strong. He then hid in the light space and disappeared. Phew, that was close. After successfully killing the Stone Tribe Major Power, Yi Chunfeng let out a long sigh of relief, but there was still lingering fear in his heart. There's still 1 6-star Ancestor Realm expert left. Once I kill him, I'll be able to engage in guerrilla warfare with the Divine Spirits in the 9th floor without worry. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself as he quietly approached the last surviving Inheritor. I'm on the tree. After approaching the last Inheritor, Yi Chunfeng discovered that he was sitting cross-legged on a lush ancient tree, and around the ancient tree were nearly 10 holy spirits hidden. If Yi Chenfeng forcefully assassinated this inheritor, it was very likely that he would alarm the 10 holy spirits, resulting in unbearable consequences. But if he did not assassinate the last inheritor, the threat would be even greater. Looks like I can only take the risk. After pondering, Yi Chenfeng decided to carry out his plan and take the risk to assassinate. Mirror image avatar, move out. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng gave an order to one of his mirror image doppelgangers. He ordered it to attack the holy spirit closest to him and alert the inheritor hiding on the ancient tree. When the mirror image avatar attacked the holy spirit, it immediately caused chaos in the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda, alarming the inheritor on the ancient tree. As for the 10 holy spirits around the ancient tree, they were attracted by the mirror image avatar and immediately rushed over, allowing Yi Chenfeng to let out a long sigh of relief. Swish! An ear-piercing sound tore through the air. The inheritor looked at the chaotic space in the distance and immediately leaped out of the ancient tree to rush over to check out the situation. But the moment he leaped off the ancient tree, Yi Chenfeng, who had been waiting for an opportunity, launched a fatal attack at him. Not good. The 6-star progenitor realm inheritor did not expect an exceptional expert to be hiding around the ancient tree. He was alarmed and immediately defended. However, the power of the domain of swords was too terrifying. Under the attack of the domain of swords, the heir's defense was immediately broken. The ancestral level sword spirit and Yi Chenfeng's sword slashed out a peerless sword ray that struck his body one after another. Bam! The last inheritor did not even have time to let out a cry of horror before he was instantly killed by Yi Chenfeng's consecutive attacks. He turned into a cloud of blood mist in midair and died on the spot. When Yi Chenfeng killed the last inheritor, his first mirror image avatar was also killed by a large number of holy spirits. But at this moment, Yi Chenfeng had already concealed himself, so the holy spirits on the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda did not discover him. Slowly, the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda regained its peace. Chapter 1955. It's been 3 months. There are still 9 months before the ultimate trial. It's time to take action. Yi Chenfeng hid in the shadows and waited for several days. He felt that the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda had gradually regained its calm and began to assassinate the 5-star ancestor realm holy spirits. Although assassinating 5-star ancestor realm holy spirits was not easy, with a God-Eater brain's senses, Yi Chenfeng could always find the holy spirits that were alone or gathered in a small area. Using the invincible sword body and sword domain, he killed them one by one without anyone noticing. In about 13 days, Yi Chenfeng killed more than 300 5-star ancestor realm holy spirits. However, at this time, there were no longer any holy spirits that were alone on the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda. This greatly increased the difficulty of Yi Chenfeng's killing. Mirror image avatar, move out. Yi Chenfeng was already prepared. He immediately ordered the mirror image avatar hidden in the shadows to move out and attract the holy spirits on the 9th level, disrupting their positions and creating conditions for his assassination. Under the 2 mirror image avatars' attraction, the entire 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda fell into a riot. A large number of holy spirits were once again alarmed and chased after the 2 mirror image avatars. Although the 2 mirror image avatars had the same level of strength as Yi Chenfeng, they had not grasped his various divine abilities. Soon, the 2 mirror image avatars were destroyed by a large number of 5-star ancestor realm holy spirits and shattered on the spot. After destroying the mirror image avatars, the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda continued to fall into a riot. However, Yi Chenfeng had long since hidden and concealed his aura. The holy spirits in the divine spirit pagoda did not discover him. Slowly, the 9th level of the divine spirit pagoda regained its calm. However, Yi Chenfeng, who was hiding in an ancient tree, remained motionless and fell into silence. At this moment, the God-Eater brain had devoured a large number of souls and heavenly Tao souls and finally completed its transformation. Not only did it give birth to a brand new child brain, but it also split out a soul fragment. Supreme divine ability, myriad swords returned to origin. When Yi Chun Feng fused with the soul fragments, the cultivation chant of a supreme innate technique appeared in his mind. This supreme innate technique was similar to the invincible sword body. If he could comprehend it, it would definitely become his greatest trump card. I'll try to comprehend it for a month first. Let's see if I have the chance to comprehend the 10,000 swords return to origin. There were still 8 months until the end of the ultimate trial. Yi Chun Feng decided to spend a month comprehending the 10,000 returning swords. If he could comprehend this technique, it would greatly increase his chances of passing the spirit race's ultimate trial. After making the decision, Yi Chun Feng immediately got rid of all distracting thoughts and threw himself into the process of comprehending the 10,000 swords returned to origin. The God-Eater brain evolved once again, and its deduction ability was even more terrifying. It greatly increased Yi Chun Feng's comprehension ability and accelerated his comprehension speed. What is he doing? Why aren't you moving? Just as the old man was marveling at Yi Chun Feng's assassination ability and tactics, he suddenly discovered that Yi Chun Feng had hidden in an ancient tree and suddenly stopped moving, sinking into a cultivation concept. Could he be cultivating? The old man shook his head and revealed a puzzled smile. Ordinary people would race against time and go all out when challenging the Divine Spirit Pagoda. No one would be like Yi Chun Feng, cultivating in the Divine Spirit Pagoda and wasting time. Very quickly, a month passed. Just as the old man was slightly anxious, Yi Chun Feng opened his tightly shut eyes, and his comprehension of the Sword Tao deepened by another level. The God-Eater brain has indeed improved a lot after evolving this time. It allowed me to grasp the initial stage of the supreme divine ability. Myriad swords returned to origin in such a short time. After grasping the initial stage of myriad swords return to origin, Yi Chun Feng did not delay any longer. He left the ancient tree and appeared outside. It's time to continue hunting. With a thought, Yi Chun Feng split out 3 mirror image avatars and hid in the dark, preparing to cooperate with him to assassinate a 5-star ancestor realm Holy Spirit. There are 4 Holy Spirits there. With the senses of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chun Feng discovered 4 lone Holy Spirits. He concealed his aura and quietly approached. This is when approaching the 4 lone Holy Spirits. Yi Chun Feng unexpectedly discovered that after the evolution of the God-Eater brain, it detected a light spot in each of the Holy Spirits' bodies. However, the positions of the light spots in the 4 Holy Spirits' bodies were different. Could this be the source of their power? Yi Chun Feng guessed and decided to use these 4 lone Holy Spirits as an experiment to test if the God-Eater brain's perception was correct. Ancestor-level Sword Soul, kill. With a thought, the Ancestor-level Sword Soul flew out and attacked the light spot in a 5-star Ancestor realm Holy Spirit's body at an extremely fast speed. The Ancestor-level Sword Soul's attack speed was extremely fast. Before the Ancestor realm Holy Spirit could react, the Ancestor-level Sword Soul pierced through the light spot in his body. In the next moment, the Ancestor realm Holy Spirit's entire body exploded, turning into a ball of air and dissipating in the light space. Sure enough, my guess was right. That light spot is the source of the Holy Spirit's power. With this discovery, Yi Chun Feng was overjoyed and attacked the light spots in the remaining 3 Ancestor realm Holy Spirits' bodies. In the blink of an eye, the light spots in the 3 Ancestor realm Holy Spirits' bodies shattered, and they turned into 3 balls of air and exploded. After killing 4 Ancestor realm Holy Spirits in an instant, Yi Chun Feng continued to conceal his aura and lurk towards the other Holy Spirits. Using the same trick, he controlled the Ancestor realm Holy Spirits to continuously shatter the light spots in their bodies, killing them in an instant. Could it be that he discovered the source of the Holy Spirit's power? Seeing the five-star ancestor realm holy spirits unable to withstand a single blow from Yi Chenfeng, the old man immediately guessed that Yi Chenfeng had most likely found the holy spirit's fatal weakness, the source of their power. Otherwise, with his strength, it would not be so easy to kill five-star ancestor realm holy spirits. Time passed day by day. Soon, another 20-plus days passed. Under Yi Chenfeng's ambush, there were only 100 plus 5-element ancestor realm holy spirits left in the entire 9th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. The other holy spirits were all killed by him at lightning speed. Come out. In order to save time, Yi Chenfeng did not waste any more time. He flew up into the sky and flashed above the space of light, and he emitted a peerlessly domineering voice that attracted all the remaining ancestor realm holy spirits in the Divine Spirit Pagoda and prepared to capture them all in one fell swoop. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Looking at Yi Chenfeng, who stood in midair and provoked them, a large number of ancestor realm holy spirits rushed over fiercely like streams of light and launched ferocious attacks at Yi Chenfeng. They wanted to join forces and kill Yi Chenfeng, who had trespassed into their territory. Chaos Divine would defend. Terrifying attacks came one after another. Yi Chenfeng did not take them head-on. Instead, he quickly summoned the Chaos Divine Wood and borrowed the Chaos Divine Wood's powerful defense to block the attacks that were enough to destroy mountains and tear the sky apart. Invincible Sword Body, myriad swords returned to origin. When the infinitely enlarged Chaos Divine Wood blocked the destructive attacks launched by the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits, Yi Chenfeng immediately activated the powerful Invincible Sword Body and forcefully executed the myriad swords returned to origin that he had just mastered and was extremely unfamiliar with, attacking the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. The Invincible Sword Body was evolved to the extreme by Yi Chenfeng and instantly condensed into tens of thousands of unparalleled divine swords. Under his control, they turned into a long river of 10,000 swords that tore through the space in front of him, and like streams of light that penetrated the universe, they attacked the light spots in the bodies of the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. Chi, chi, chi. Under the attack of Yi Chenfeng's myriad swords returned to origin, the light spots in the bodies of the Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits were pierced through. In the blink of an eye, nearly 100 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits were killed by Yi Chenfeng's myriad swords returned to origin. This is a top-notch supreme divine ability. Witnessing the scene of Yi Chenfeng killing nearly 100 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits with a single strike, the old man who had been paying attention to Yi Chenfeng was deeply shocked. His eyes widened and he was dumbfounded. Whoosh! Yi Chenfeng's body flashed, and with a powerful sword might, he attacked the dozen or so 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits who had rushed over and were lucky to escape. In less than half an incense stick's time, the remaining dozen or so 5-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits were also killed by Yi Chenfeng like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. The spatial passageway that led to the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda appeared. Chapter 1956. Phew, there's still 7 months left. If nothing goes wrong, it should be enough for me to complete the ultimate test. Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly as he looked at the spatial passageway leading to the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Originally, he did not have full confidence in completing the 10,000 slaughter. However, after the God-Eater brain evolved, it could see through the fatal weaknesses of sacred spirits. This greatly reduced the threat that sacred spirits posed to him. As long as he was careful, he believed that he would be able to complete an unprecedented feat, complete the 10,000 slaughter, and obtain the ultimate inheritance treasure of the Spirit Clan. After resting for 3 days on the 9th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chenfeng endured the immense spatial pressure as he passed through the pitch-black spatial passageway and entered the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, which was as dark as ink and without a trace of light. It was like a world of darkness, dark space. Although it was pitch black in front of him, and he could not see anything with the naked eye, Yi Chenfeng liked this kind of dark environment the most. With the God-Eater brain, He did not need eyes at all. Moreover, in such a dark space, he could increase his chances of assassinating a 6-star Ancestor Realm sacred spirit. Let's see how many inheritors are still alive on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, compared to assassinating a 6-star Ancestor Realm sacred spirit. The inheritors who were still alive posed a greater threat to Yi Chenfeng. Those who had the strength to step onto the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda were top-notch in terms of strength and talent in the Void God realm. Moreover, all of them had life-saving abilities. It was impossible to kill them in one strike. Yi Chenfeng thought about a plan in his mind. He used Mirror Image Doppelganger and split into 3 mirror images. He had them move quietly and hide in various places, waiting for his orders. After deploying, Yi Chenfeng concealed his aura and moved quietly on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, searching for inheritors who were still alive. The higher he went, the smaller the space inside the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Yi Chenfeng was like a ghost as he moved carefully in the dark space. He used the God-Eater brain to sense every corner and search for inheritors who were still alive. About 3 days later, Yi Chenfeng used the God-Eater brain to cover almost every corner of the Divine Spirit Tower. He discovered that there were 2 inheritors who were still alive on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Tower, and their strength was suspected to have reached the peak of the 6-star Ancestor Realm. It's just as I thought. Those who have the ability to step onto the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda and not die are most likely powerhouses at the peak of the 6-star Ancestor Realm. Moreover, even if they did not step onto this level back then, they should have reached this level after being trapped here for countless years with nothing to do other than cultivate. After confirming the 2 targets, Yi Chenfeng felt that the situation was getting more and more troublesome. His expression turned serious. After all, with his current strength and ability, it was already difficult for him to go against an ordinary 6-star Ancestor Realm expert, let alone kill a peak 6-star Ancestor Realm expert. Moreover, it was impossible for him to kill them in a short period of time. What should we do? Yi Chenfeng bitterly tried to think of a countermeasure. But without any trump cards or treasures to use, he couldn't think of a better way. Sigh, I can only let the 3 mirror image doppelganger lure the saint spirit of the 10th level as far away as possible to create an opportunity for me to kill him. After thinking for a while, Yi Chenfeng felt that there was only one way he could use. He immediately passed the order to the 3 mirror image doppelganger and asked them to take action. Upon receiving the order, the 3 mirror image doppelganger, hidden in the dark, immediately appeared and flew in the opposite direction of Yi Chenfeng with all their might. Immediately, their appearance caused a huge commotion on the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. A large number of 6-star Ancestor Realm saint spirits residing in the dark space were alarmed and chased after them with all their might. The entire 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda fell into chaos. Sensing the space of the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, the 2 inheritors who were sitting cross-legged in 2 different directions of the Divine Spirit Pagoda opened their eyes at the same time. Millions of rays of light shot out from their eyes. Whoosh! Just as one of them, a tall and sturdy man wearing a dark blue robe, whose body had long merged into one with the night sky, and whose grayish-white hair draped over his shoulders flew past, Yi Chenfeng, who had been lying in ambush for a long time, suddenly launched a sneak attack on him. Godless Sword. Yi Chenfeng instantly ignited his primordial bloodline and activated his invincible sword body. Holding the ancestral sword soul that had transformed into a black divine sword, he stabbed at the grayish-white-haired man. The grayish-white-haired man's expression changed slightly. He did not expect that there would be someone hiding nearby. He reacted instinctively and threw a punch at the grayish-white-haired man who was attacking him. With a punch, the space in front of Yi Chenfeng constantly shattered. The terrifying fist beam carried an unparalleled destructive power as it collided with Yi Chenfeng's godless sword. Chaos Divine Wood, come out! While facing the grayish-white-haired man's punch head-on, Yi Chenfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine wood to sway with the Chaos 5 elemental light as he continued to launch a ferocious attack on the grayish-white-haired man. Bam! Caught off guard, the grayish-white-haired man was struck by the lush treetop of the Chaos Divine wood. Cracks immediately appeared on his body's defenses. His body fell from midair like a kite with a broken string, smashing a huge crater in the ground. After the successful sneak attack, Yi Chen-feng did not give the grayish-white-haired man any chance to catch his breath. He activated his invincible sword body and turned himself into a sword as he continued to launch a ferocious attack on the grayish-white-haired man. Successor, you've angered me. Yi Chen-feng launched a tidal wave of attacks. The grayish-white-haired man, whose injuries were getting more and more serious, was enraged. He executed a killer move to counter the attack. Spatial black hole. The man executed the 7th transformation of the spatial laws, attracting a large amount of spatial energy to form a terrifying spatial black hole in front of him. It swallowed everything and tried to devour Yi Chen-feng. Sword domain break. As the spatial black hole attacked, Yi Chen-feng immediately opened up an even more powerful sword domain. He borrowed the power of the domain to attack the spatial black hole. Domain, a complete domain. Sensing the might of the sword domain, the grayish-white-haired man's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. What kind of monster are you? In the grayish-white-haired man's opinion, Yi Chen-feng's cultivation realm was not high, but his methods far exceeded his imagination. However, this also aroused the grayish-white-haired man's fighting spirit. He used all his strength to attack, and used the spatial laws to forcefully break the sword domain. Sai, a peak 6-star ancestor realm mighty figure, is decisive and difficult to deal with. After the sword domain was forcefully broken by the grayish-white-haired man, Yi Chen-feng immediately suffered a backlash. A stream of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. However, he did not slow down his attacks. He activated his invincible sword body and controlled the Chaos Divine wood to attack the grayish-white-haired man, killing him with all his strength. The two of them fought fiercely on the 10th level of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, causing a huge commotion. As the grayish-white-haired man's strength was too terrifying, the sword domain that Yi Chen-feng formed was once again shattered by him. At this moment, Yi Chen-feng's 3 mirror image clones were killed by the surging tide of Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. As for the other inheritor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda who was not dead, he noticed the intense battle between Yi Chen-feng and the grayish-white-haired man and rushed over at an extremely fast speed. This made Yi Chen-feng's situation even more dangerous. What should I do? Sensing the second inheritor who was not dead approaching, Yi Chen-feng's expression changed as several thoughts flashed through his mind. Chapter 1957. I'll go all out. In order to obtain the spirit race's ultimate inheritance, Yi Chen-feng gritted his teeth and went all out. Life Soul Technique. Burn 40,000 years of lifespan. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and burned 50,000 years of his lifespan at all costs, forcefully raising his realm to the 6-star ancestor realm. Infinite Chaos. With his strength soaring, Yi Chen-feng didn't hesitate any longer. He used his supreme divine ability to attack the gray-haired man. With a strike, the phantom of the Chaos Divine tree appeared. The invincible sword body, ancestor-level sword soul, and 4 ancestor-level Dao diagrams were deduced to the extreme. More than 1 trillion kilograms of power erupted, transforming into a boundless torrent that collapsed space and bombarded the gray-haired man, whose expression changed slightly. Boom! The infinite chaos and the gray-haired man's powerful move collided, erupting with earth-shattering destructive power that tore open cracks in the space on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Chaos Divine Tree, suppress. After using the infinite chaos to push back the gray-haired man, Yi Chen-feng immediately controlled the Chaos Divine Tree to suppress him. Sensing the threat posed by Yi Chen-feng, the gray-haired man also went all out. As he deduced a powerful Dao intent to resist the suppression of the Chaos Divine Tree, he used all his strength to desperately attack Yi Chen-feng. After using the Life Soul technique to raise his strength to the 6-star ancestor realm, Yi Chenfeng's strength soared to the extreme. He didn't dodge the gray-haired man's consecutive killer moves. Instead, he conjured a powerful sword domain and faced them with all his might. With the strength of a 6-star ancestor realm for a short period of time, Yi Chenfeng's sword domain became even more powerful. Under the attack of the sword domain, the gray-haired man's consecutive attacks were constantly broken and could no longer threaten Yi Chenfeng. As Yi Chenfeng used the sword domain to suppress the gray-haired man with all his might, the second inheritor who hadn't died arrived. Domain, this is the power of a domain. Sensing the strong sword domain around Yi Chenfeng, this woman's eyes lit up. She was dressed in tight, black leather clothes. She had a graceful figure and a curvy figure. Although her appearance was ordinary, she had a pair of peach blossom eyes and a head of deep purple hair. He hasn't reached the half-step void god realm, but he has mastered the power of a domain. How'd he do it? The way the purple-haired lady looked at Yi Chenfeng kept changing. Her heart was in turmoil. Zillian, what are you waiting for? Help me destroy him. You and I will have the qualifications to challenge of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. The gray-haired man's outs of the Divine Spirit Pagodas of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Our relationship isn't good. Why should I help you? Out of Yi Chenfeng's expectations, the purple-haired woman did not help the gray-haired man. Seeing this, Yi Chenfeng's heart, which had been hanging in the air, let out a sigh of relief. He continued to increase the intensity of his attacks, attacking the gray-haired man fiercely, worsening his injuries. Zillian, if I'm destroyed, you'll be next. He won't let you go. The gray-haired man did not give up and continued to shout. Little friend, how about we make a deal? If you agree, I'll help you deal with him. Zillian's beautiful eyes rolled slightly as she looked at Yi Chenfeng, who was showing off his invincible might. What kind of deal? Yi Chenfeng asked while attacking fiercely. Take me out of here, and I'll help you deal with him. Zillian suggested. I'm sorry, but I've already agreed to take someone else away. I can't promise you that. Although Zillian's strength was terrifying and only a step away from half-step void spirit realm, Yi Chenfeng had already agreed to Mu Linger's request. Moreover, Mu Linger, who was suspected to have come from another universe, was even more valuable. Yi Chenfeng was very interested in the supernatural arts she had from another universe. So it's like that. Zilin gently bit her blood-red lips and said, All right, I'll change my condition. You take my soul away and swear that you'll find me a perfect body in the future, and I'll help you deal with him. You're so confident that I can pass the final test? Yi Chenfeng asked, distracted. If you're alone, the chances aren't high. But if I help you, then there's a 70% chance. Zillian licked her alluring lips and said patiently, How about it? Think it over carefully. You won't lose out in our deal. At worst, Big Sister will give you a little more sweetness. What's sweetness? Yi Chenfeng furrowed his brows. How about I give you the body? I've been lonely for 1,000,000 years. If you can control me, I'll definitely make you want to die. Zillian's peach blossom eyes shone with a misty light. Her alluring expression made him daydream endlessly. But despite her sexy figure, her looks were average. She was the type who could kill with her back view, so Yi Chenfeng wasn't interested in her at all. All right, I promise you. If you have a way to make your soul leave with me, I swear I'll find you a perfect body and let you be reborn. Zillian's threat wasn't small. In order to get rid of her threat, Yi Chenfeng had to compromise and agree to her terms. I knew you'd agree. Zillian's red lips curved into a smile as she flew over. Her Tao intent was terrifying as she helped Yi Chenfeng deal with the gray-haired man. Wait, if you really have the confidence to complete the 10,000 slaughter and pass the Spirit Tribe's ultimate test, I'm also willing to follow you with my soul and serve you for 1,000 years. The gray-haired man couldn't resist Yi Chenfeng's life spirit technique. Now that he had Zilin's help, he felt even more threatened. In order to survive, he had to compromise. Haha, he's already my little man. It's too late for you to say that. Zilin smiled as her slender fingers moved quickly. In an instant, streaks of meteor-like finger radiance flew towards the gray-haired man. Chi, chi, chi. Under the attack of the streaks of sharp finger radiance, the gray-haired man's body was riddled with holes. His injuries kept worsening. 3,000 God-transforming fists. Yi Qianfeng didn't show any mercy. In an instant, he blasted out 3,000 destructive fist radiance, causing a huge change in heaven and earth. They bombarded the gray-haired man's body from all directions and exploded it. Stop. Stop right now. If you don't want to be tricked, I advise you not to trust her and stay away from her. She is a wolf that eats people without spitting out the bones. If you take her away and help her rebirth, she will definitely kill you. The gray-haired man had no choice but to shout as his injuries became more and more serious. Well, don't sow discord. Such a beautiful little brother. I can't wait to love him. How can I bear to kill him? Zilin's expression didn't change. She continued to attack the gray-haired man. When Yi Qianfeng and Zilin joined hands and attacked the gray-haired man with all their strength, the holy spirits who heard the commotion rushed over like a long river, appearing in extremely fast speed. Let's end this quickly and kill him as soon as possible. Otherwise, once I'm surrounded by the holy spirits, I'll be in trouble. Feeling that the holy spirits were getting closer and closer, Yi Qianfeng immediately sent a message to Zilin to urge her. Okay. Zilin nodded. Her straight and slender legs slid like a dragon. In an instant, she turned into a giant dragon and kicked the gray-haired man fiercely. 10,000 swords returned to sect. When Zilin proposed the ultimate kick, Yi Qianfeng fully activated the invincible sword body and raised the power of the sword principle to the extreme. He turned himself into 10,000 swords and instantly slashed out 10,000 streaks of sword radiance. It was like an endless sea of swords, annihilating the gray-haired man. Bang! Chapter 1958. Let's go. I'll take you to a place to hide. A large number of six-star ancestor realm holy spirits chased after them. Zilin immediately took Yi Qianfeng and sped through the chaotic 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Pagoda, trying her best to escape the pursuit of the holy spirits. However, there were too many holy spirits chasing after them. They quickly sealed off their escape route. Don't run. Let's kill them. With their escape route sealed, Yi Qianfeng decisively gave up on escaping. He was prepared to use the life spirit technique to kill the holy spirits before the amplification effect disappeared. Kill. Are you crazy? Zilin's eyes widened. She was dumbfounded. There were more than 500 holy spirits chasing after them. All of them were six-star ancestor realm holy spirits. Such a terrifying force could instantly turn Yi Qianfeng into minced meat. I'm not crazy. If you want to leave with me, then do as I say. Yi Qianfeng shook his head and ordered, not allowing her to refuse. Do you? Zilin felt like she was going crazy. With their strength, fighting against more than 500 six-star ancestor realm holy spirits was no different from courting death. However, at this time, Yi Qianfeng had already turned around and rushed towards the holy spirits like a tide. The distance between them was getting closer and closer. Damn it, what's going on? Am I going to draw water with a bamboo basket this time for nothing? Zilin gritted her teeth and followed Yi Qianfeng closely. However, she did not hold any hope in her heart. Chaos Divine Wood block. Yi Qianfeng did not hesitate to summon the Chaos Divine Wood when he saw the six-star ancestor realm holy spirits flying towards him. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to grow bigger and bigger until it turned into a towering divine wood in front of him, blocking the attacks of the ferocious six-star ancestor realm holy spirits. Boom, boom, boom. The instant Yi Qianfeng summoned the primal Chaos Divine Wood, the six-star ancestral realm holy spirits launched ferocious attacks that bombarded the primal Chaos Divine Wood. The primal Chaos Divine Wood shook violently and went completely out of control. 10,000 swords returned to origin. While the Chaos Divine tree forcefully withstood the attacks of the six-star ancestor realm holy spirits, Yi Chenfeng activated his invincible sword body and unleashed a powerful sword domain. He flew to the trembling five-colored treetop of the Chaos Divine Tree and instantly transformed into thousands of invincible sword rays that attacked the six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits at the forefront. Chi Chi Chi. Under the God-Eater Brain's rapid deduction, Yi Chenfeng instantly captured the fatal weakness of nearly 100 six-star Ancestor Realm Saint Spirits. With a single strike, he pierced through the source of their power and killed them instantly. How is this possible? Witnessing the scene of Yi Chenfeng killing nearly 100 six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits with a single strike, Zilin's peach blossom eyes widened. She couldn't believe what had just happened, and it was as if she had seen a ghost. Since when were six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits so easy to kill? Recalling the despair she felt when she killed the six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits back then, she couldn't figure out how Yi Chenfeng could kill nearly 100 six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits in a single strike. Chaos Divine Tree continued to defend. After one strike, Yi Chenfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Tree, which was under great pressure to continue to defend against the attacks of the remaining six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. While the Chaos Divine Tree was defending with all its might, the God-Eater Brain rapidly deduced and continued to search for the source of power of the other six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. After the evolution of the God-Eater Brain, its deduction ability had reached an extremely terrifying level. Under its extreme deduction, Yi Chenfeng discovered the fatal weakness of several dozen Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits and continued to attack with myriad returning swords. Swish, swish, swish. A series of ear-piercing sounds rang out. Under the attack of myriad returning swords, several dozen six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits instantly exploded. CK, this guy is too freakish. In just 2 moves, he had killed nearly 200 six-star Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. This made Zilin's heart tremble as she looked at Yi Chenfeng with a burning gaze. Only this kind of man is worthy of me, Zilin thought in her heart. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and attack. Distract them. Yi Chenfeng shouted at Zilin, whose eyes were burning with passion and heart-shaped eyes. I'm no longer an inheritor. I can only help you defend, but I can't help you kill them. Zilin transmitted her voice. All right, then help me defend. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Space Black Hole. Zilin didn't hesitate. Powerful space law surged out of her hot body, causing the rolling space force to surge crazily. In an instant, a space black hole was formed, blocking in front of Yi Chenfeng. Space Black Hole, 7 changes of space law. Yi Chenfeng didn't expect Zilin to have cultivated space law to such a level, and his eyes lit up. Ka. The moment Zilin formed the space black hole, the Chaos Divine Wood was blasted away by the tide of Holy Spirits. The powerful residual power fiercely bombarded the space black hole that devoured everything, causing cracks to appear on the space black hole. It was about to shatter. Taking advantage of the dual defense of the Chaos Divine Wood and the space black hole, the God-Eater Brain that was rapidly deducing captured the fatal weakness of dozens of Ancestor Realm Holy Spirits. Yi Chenfeng used the 10,000 returning swords and attacked with all his strength, piercing through the source of their power and killing them. 100 layers of space restriction. After 3 attacks, Yi Chenfeng immediately mobilized the powerful space force and formed 100 space restrictions in front of him to resist the attacks of the remaining Holy Spirits. When the 100 layers of space restriction was broken through by more than 200 Holy Spirits, Yi Chenfeng and Zilin had already dodged to the distance, avoiding their space. Should we retreat or continue to attack? Zilin glanced at Yi Chenfeng, who had completely broken her understanding, and asked, There are only more than 200 Holy Spirits left. Let's kill them first. Yi Chenfeng delayed, summoned the Chaos Divine Wood again, and killed more than 200 Holy Spirits. With the Chaos Divine Wood, Zilin was in charge of defense, and Yi Chenfeng was in charge of offense, More than 200 holy spirits almost didn't cause much trouble for Yi Qinfeng before he found their fatal weakness and killed them. Let's go. We'll find other holy spirits and destroy them as soon as possible. After killing more than 500 six-star Ancestor Realm holy spirits, Yi Qinfeng took advantage of the Life Soul Technique's amplitude consumption to search for the holy spirits on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Tower. What a monster! She thought back to when she challenged the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Tower, afraid of encountering a group of holy spirits. But Yi Qinfeng specifically found places with many holy spirits and used the 10,000 returning swords that made her heart tremble, killing the six-star Ancestor Realm holy spirits one by one. Why is it so easy for him to kill the six-star Ancestor Realm holy spirits? Could it be that he can see through these holy spirits and find their fatal weakness? Zilin's eyes widened as she thought of the possibility. Zilin wasn't the only one who was shocked by Yi Qinfeng's shocking methods. The old man who had set up the shocking chessboard also revealed a look of shock. Although he felt that Yi Qinfeng might pass, he didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to pass so easily. Amazing, I didn't expect that the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Tower, which no one has ever passed, would be no threat to him. The old man's eyes were even more gratified. Junior, I want to see how great your potential is. I'll make it more difficult for you. Chapter 1959. Don't run. You're the only one left in the entire tower. Yi Qinfeng slaughtered crazily for a few days. He killed 999 holy spirits on the 10th floor of the Divine Spirit Tower. Only one holy spirit was left, desperately trying to escape. Ancestral Sword Soul Break. Yi Qinfeng's sharp eyes locked onto the Saint Spirit's fatal weakness. He controlled the Ancestor Level Sword Spirit and pierced through the Saint Spirit's body, destroying the source of his power and killing him. 10,000 human slaughter complete. After Yi Qinfeng killed the last Holy Spirit, a deep voice echoed throughout the entire tower. In the next moment, a giant spatial door appeared above the 10th floor. Beams of holy light shone from the spatial door. Finally passed. Seeing the spatial door that suddenly appeared, Yi Qinfeng let out a sigh of relief. He brought the excited Zilin through the spatial door. This isn't the exit. After flying through the spatial door, Yi Qinfeng was stunned. He realized that the spatial door wasn't the exit of the tower. It was a mysterious space. Floating in the starry space was an old man in a white robe. He had a long white beard and a red face. His entire body seemed to be one with the starry space. Elder God. Zilin immediately recognized this white-robed old man. He was the weapon spirit of the Divine Spirit Tower. He was the true controller of the tower, the Elder God. Junior, you're not bad. You completed the never-before-completed 10,000 human slaughter so easily. The Elder God opened his muddy eyes and looked at Yi Qinfeng. He coldly said, "And I am your final test." Final test? Yi Qinfeng frowned and said with surprise, "Senior, is the 10,000 human slaughter not the final test? The 10,000 human slaughter is the final test, but you want to take 2 people from the Cave of Death. You've broken the rules of the Cave of Death, so we added another test for you. If you can complete it, not only will you obtain the ultimate treasure of the spirit race, but you can also take away the little girl and her soul outside. All right, what is the test?" Yi Qinfeng wasn't a man who went back on his word. Since he'd promised Mu Linger and Zilin, he wouldn't abandon them. Defeat me. As long as you defeat me, you'll pass the test. The Divine Elder said. Defeat you? Yi Qinfeng glared at him and said, "Can I use my treasures?" "No, you can't use any treasures. You can only fight me with your own strength." The Divine Elder shook his head. "Senior, what if I fail the challenge?" Yi Qinfeng asked. "If you fail, everything here will no longer belong to you. You will be suppressed by me forever." The Divine Elder said, "All right then. Senior, can you allow me to make some adjustments before we begin the test?" Yi Qinfeng said helplessly, "No problem. You can have a good rest. When you're in your best condition, just look for me." After he finished speaking, the Divine Elder floating in the air didn't say anything else. "You wait for me here." Yi Qinfeng tried to connect with the Qinquan realm and discovered that he could do so without the Divine Spirit Pagoda's restrictions. He entered the Tranquil realm and took out multiple precious fruits of life. He swallowed them all to recover the 50,000 years of life he'd lost. After absorbing the life force, Yi Chenfeng immediately adjusted his condition in the 30x time flow. When a day had passed in the outside world, Yi Chenfeng left the Qinquan realm and arrived in front of the Divine Elder. "Senior, I've adjusted my condition. I can begin the challenge now." "All right, be careful now." The Divine Elder opened his eyes and slowly rose to his feet in the air. Tens of thousands of streams of energy surged in from all directions and entered the Divine Elder's body. Assimilate the power of the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Sensing that these streams of energy were from the Divine Spirit Pagoda, Yi Chenfeng didn't hesitate to summon the Primal Chaos Divine Wood. Primal Chaos Divine Wood. Suppress the space. To defeat the Divine Elder, cutting off his connection with the Divine Spirit Pagoda was crucial. As long as he couldn't borrow the pagoda's power to attack, it would be the same as cutting off his legs and greatly weakening his battle prowess. This is the Primal Chaos Divine Wood. Looking at the continuously expanding Chaos Divine Wood, which was emitting Chaos 5 elements light, the Divine Elder, who had existed for countless years, guessed the origin of the Chaos Divine Wood. Correct, this is the Primal Chaos Divine Wood. Many people knew about the Primal Chaos Divine Wood, so Yi Chenfeng didn't hide it and nodded. He has the Primal Chaos Divine Wood. Zilin's eyes lit up at this moment. She was determined to conquer Yi Chenfeng. "Junior, you won't use the Primal Chaos Divine Wood, and I won't borrow the pagoda's power. Let's fight with our own strength." The Divine Elder wanted to test Yi Chenfeng's potential and suggested. "Sure." Yi Chenfeng nodded and recalled the Primal Chaos Divine Wood. The Divine Elder also stopped fusing the pagoda's power. A long spear that seemed to be formed by countless light runes appeared in his hand. "Junior, be careful," the Divine Elder warned. His entire body fused with the long spear like a swaying dragon. He roared and attacked Yi Chenfeng. Grand Mist Bloodline Ignition, Invincible Sword Body. As the Divine Elder attacked, Yi Chenfeng didn't hesitate to ignite his powerful bloodline power and activate his strongest physique. He turned into an invincible divine sword and met the attack head-on. Bang! The divine sword Yi Chenfeng turned and collided with the Divine Elder's light rune spear. Instantly, endless sparks surged out, causing the entire space to tremble. What a powerful attack! After taking the attack head-on, Yi Chenfeng felt his body being pierced by the Divine Elder's spear. The blood in his body churned, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. After the spear, the air beneath the Divine Elder's feet churned violently. He turned into a surging wave that seemed to be able to swallow the heavens and earth. He launched a ferocious attack at Yi Chenfeng, wanting to swallow him whole. Sword Domain. Facing the Divine Elder who had turned into a huge wave, Yi Chenfeng immediately opened up his powerful sword domain. Countless sword lights revolved within the domain, blocking the Divine Elder's attack with all his strength. Boom! The giant wave formed by the Divine Elder slammed into Yi Chenfeng's domain of swords. The terrifying power caused countless cracks to appear on the domain of swords. The light swords circling in the domain of swords were instantly shattered. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng's sword domain couldn't withstand the Divine Elder's attack and completely shattered. Yi Chenfeng immediately suffered a powerful backlash from the domain. He spat out a large amount of blood. Sword steps. At this critical moment, Yi Chenfeng ignored his injuries and used sword steps to dodge the Divine Elder's attack. However, his injuries continued to worsen under the Divine Elder's attacks. His clothes were already dyed red with blood. Junior, if your strength is only this much, then you will not be able to defeat me. The Divine Elder looked at the blood-stained Yi Chenfeng and said in a domineering manner, Phew, Senior, the battle has just begun. Isn't it a little too early to talk about victory and defeat? Yi Chenfeng gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. The God-Eater brain continued to deduce, sensing the Divine Elder's weakness. After experiencing the Divine Elder's terrifying strength, he knew that if he wanted to win, he had to find the Divine Elder's weakness. Chapter 1960. Come on, you can't lose. Yi Chen-feng was Zi Lin's only hope to escape. If Yi Chen-feng could defeat the Divine Elder, she could entrust her soul to Yi Chen-feng and leave this damned place that had trapped her for countless years. Don't worry, I won't lose. Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and once again propped up the powerful sword domain to resist the Divine Elder, who was far stronger than him. Although the sword domain is strong, your strength is too weak. You can't display the true power of the sword domain, so the power of the domain is no threat to me, the Divine Elder said indifferently. He wasn't surprised that Yi Chen-feng could evolve a complete domain at the ancestral realm. Whoosh! The Divine Elder's spear was like a flash of light as it pierced through the sword domain and attacked Yi Chen-feng. Ancestral sword soul break. At this critical moment, Yi Chen-feng controlled the ancestral sword soul to turn into a black divine sword and stabbed at the sword light. Ka-ka-ka! In a series of intense explosions, Yi Chen-feng borrowed the power of the ancestral sword soul and sword domain to break the Divine Elder's spear attack. I want to see how many of my attacks you can break. After the sword light was broken, the Divine Elder continued to attack the sword domain with the light rune spear. Limitless chaos. When Yi Chen-feng saw the streaks of spear lights, a huge primal chaos divine tree image appeared behind him. With this strike, Yi Chen-feng combined all his strength and blasted out the infinite primal chaos force. It easily shattered the horrifying fist lights. Sword steps. When the two powerful attacks collided, Yi Chen-feng used the sword steps and instantly passed through the storm. He approached the Divine Elder and blasted out the 3,000 transformation god fists. Boom, boom, boom. A series of deafening explosions resounded. Under the attack of Yi Chen-feng's 3,000 transformation god fists, the space where the Divine Elder was just collapsed. However, the Divine Elder's reaction was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he had dodged several thousand meters away, causing Yi Chen-feng's attack to miss. Junior, your attack speed is a bit slow, the Divine Elder, who was hiding in the distance, said indifferently. Senior, see if you can dodge my punch. A light flashed under Yi Chen-feng's feet as he flew toward the Divine Elder, using the sword steps. When he was 10 meters away from the Divine Elder, Yi Chen-feng suddenly sped up the flow of time and threw a punch at the Divine Elder. Time acceleration. Seeing Yi Chen-feng's attack speed suddenly increase, the Divine Elder instinctively dodged. But the moment he dodged, he was surprised to find that Yi Chen-feng's punch was slowing down again and again. Not good. After a short pause, Yi Chen-feng, who had used the time deceleration law again, landed a punch on the Divine Elder's body. More than 2 trillion gene of power suddenly erupted. The surging power was like a tide that broke through a dam as it bombarded the Divine Elder's body. It crazily damaged his body and forced him to take several steps back. Time acceleration law, time deceleration law. I didn't expect you to have grasped the 2 changes of the time law. The Divine Elder revealed a surprised expression as he regarded Yi Chen-feng with even more importance. Yi Chen-feng's close-range attack was precisely because he wanted to use the God-Eater brain to sense the Divine Elder's body and find his fatal weakness. His chest. Under the God-Eater brain's rapid deduction, Yi Chen-feng felt that the Divine Elder's chest seemed to be the source of his power. However, because the Divine Elder was dodging too quickly, the God-Eater brain couldn't determine where the Divine Elder's fatal weakness was. After locking onto the Divine Elder's chest, Yi Chen-feng held his ancestral sword spirit and continued to attack the Divine Elder. Godless Sword. Yi Chen-feng deduced the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams to their limits. With a thrust of his sword, the terrifying Godless Sword seized the brilliance of the heavens and earth. It tore through space and stabbed towards the Divine Elder's chest. The Divine Elder didn't dodge Yi Chen-feng's sword. Instead, he raised his light spear to meet the attack with all his strength. Wong, wong, wong. The tip of the spear and sword collided. Instantly, endless sparks surged out. A terrifying energy spread out from the two divine weapons, riddling space with thousands of holes. God-Eater Brain, Rapid Deduction. Yi Chun-Feng clenched his teeth and activated the invincible sword body. More than 2 trillion gene of strength, the sword domain, and the power of the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams. He attacked with all his might, allowing the God-Eater Brain to sense the changes in the Divine Elder's body and find his fatal weakness. Yi Chun-Feng used almost all of his strength in this strike. However, the Divine Elder's strength was too terrifying. In just 10 breaths of time, Yi Chun-Feng's injuries began to worsen. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. His right hand, which was holding onto his ancestral sword spirit, cracked from the powerful recoil. "Junior, you're too weak. You can't defeat me." The Divine Elder fiercely exerted his strength. A refined spear light ruthlessly struck the ancestral sword spirit, forcibly shattering it and sending Yi Chun-Feng flying several thousand meters away. This he won't lose, right? If he loses, what should I do? Should I continue to be trapped in this damned place? Seeing the heavily injured Yi Chun-Feng being sent flying by the Divine Elder's spear, Zilin felt a little despair. Not necessarily. Yi Chun-Feng took a deep breath and suppressed the roiling blood in his body. He quickly repaired the cracks in his ancestral sword spirit and continued to attack the Divine Elder. Without using the Life Soul technique, the difference in strength between Yi Chun-Feng and the Divine Elder was too great. He used all of his skills and almost all of his trump cards, but he still couldn't injure the Divine Elder. However, he was sent flying again and again by the Divine Elder's Spear of Light. His injuries continued to worsen. "Junior, do you admit defeat or not?" The Divine Elder said emotionlessly as he looked at the heavily injured Yi Chun-Feng, whose clothes had long since been dyed red with blood. "Continue." Yi Chun-Feng took a deep breath and said with high fighting spirit. Holding his ancestral sword spirit, he opened his sword domain and continued to launch a fierce attack at the Divine Elder. "All right, I'd like to see how long you can last," the Divine Elder said coldly. He continued to attack with his Spear of Light, sending out streaks of spear light that shattered Yi Chun-Feng's attacks and pierced his body. "It's over, it's all over." Seeing Yi Chun-Feng's body almost explode from the Divine Elder's attacks and only have a strength to defend himself, Zilin felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She fell into despair. "Do you admit defeat or not?" Seeing Yi Chun-Feng's injuries getting more and more serious, the Divine Elder's cold eyes revealed a trace of admiration as he asked loudly. "Continue." Yi Chun-Feng took a deep breath and controlled the primordial blood to forcefully suppress the injuries on his body. Although Yi Chun-Feng's injuries were very serious, he didn't feel despair in his heart. Instead, his blood-stained eyes became even more determined. Under the God-Eater Brain's rapid deduction, he had basically locked onto the Divine Elder's fatal weakness. Success or failure depends on this. Yi Chun-Feng took a deep breath and fearlessly charged at the invincible Divine Elder. When the Divine Elder's arm merged with his Spear of Light, Yi Chun-Feng's gaze locked onto a certain spot on the Divine Elder's chest. In the next moment, he used the sect returning swords that he had never used before and launched a fatal attack at the Divine Elder. Sect returning swords. Yi Chun-Feng raised the attack power of the invincible sword physique to the extreme. In an instant, tens of thousands of invincible swords appeared and destroyed the entire space, attacking the Divine Elder's fatal weakness. As the sect returning swords attacked, the Divine Elder instinctively changed his moves to defend. However, the attack power of the sect returning swords was too terrifying, and Yi Chun-Feng was intentionally attacking the Divine Elder's fatal weakness. Boom, 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 amidst a series of intense explosions. Chapter 1961. Junior, you've won. The Divine Elder struggled to get up from the ground. Because his weak point had suffered a fatal blow, the Divine Elder had become incomparably weak. His voice trembled as he spoke. He won this, he really won. Zilin felt as if her brain couldn't wrap itself around this. Yi Chun-Feng, who had just been suppressed by the Divine Elder and only had the strength to defend himself, had defeated the Divine Elder in the blink of an eye. This scene seemed like a play that made Lin feel as if it was fake. Then, Senior, will I be able to obtain the ultimate treasure that the Spirit Clan left here? Yi Feng asked. Yes, I'll send you to see the Spirit Ancestor. The Divine Elder nodded and used the power of the Divine Essence Pagoda to send Yi Feng and Lin out. Not bad, not bad. Junior, you're even more outstanding than I imagined. Seeing Yi Feng teleport out of the Divine Essence Pagoda, the Spirit Ancestor slowly stood up and excitedly spoke. Come with me. I'll take you to the treasure right now. With that, the Spirit Ancestor tore open a spatial rift and brought Yi Feng to the forbidden area of the Cave of Death, the place where the treasure was sealed. Thump, thump, thump. When the Spirit Ancestor opened the seal that had been sealed for an unknown number of years, Yi Feng could clearly hear a loud heartbeat in the ancient temple in front of him, causing the blood in his body to surge. Senior, this heartbeat is... Yi Feng's eyes widened as he looked at the Spirit Ancestor and asked, This heart is the heart of a god, one of the opportunities one obtained on the ancient path of stars. The Spirit Ancestor said, The ancient path of stars. Senior, you've been to the ancient path of stars. Yi Feng's eyes widened, revealing a look of deep shock. Yes, in ancient times I once entered the ancient path of the starry sky. However, the ancient path of the starry sky was too dangerous and I could only wander around the periphery. However, my luck was pretty good and I obtained 2 treasures on the ancient path of the starry sky. However, it was these 2 treasures that brought about a calamity to the Ling clan. Ling Taizu nodded. Senior, I have a question. You are so powerful, but why is the Spirit Clan so weak? As far as Yi Feng knew, the Spirit Clan was only as powerful as the Green Sky Clan. So he asked in confusion, Because I'm not a true spirit race. The blood flowing in my body is the blood of the God race. The spirit race is just a race that I created by leaving behind my inheritance in the heaven realm. Spirit Great Ancestor explained. So that's how it is. Upon hearing Spirit Taizu's explanation, many of Yi Feng's questions were answered. Senior, apart from this god's heart, what else did you obtain on the ancient road of stars? Yi Feng asked curiously. In addition to the heart of God, I also obtained the map of the Tomb of Massacre. Spirit Taizu said. The map of the Tomb of Massacre. Yi Feng's eyes widened, revealing a puzzled expression as he asked, Why would the map of the Tomb of Massacre appear on the ancient road of stars? At first, when I obtained the map of the Tomb of Massacre, I was as puzzled as you. However, later on, I gained a deeper understanding of the ancient road of stars and understood the reason. The ancient road of stars is a name passed down from ancient times. However, this name is not accurate. The real name of the ancient road of stars should be the ruins of gods. Spirit Great Ancestor said in an earth-shattering manner. Ruins of gods. That means the ancient road of stars is a place created by God. Yi Feng raised his eyebrows as he spoke in astonishment. That's right. The ancient road of stars is a place created by God. It is also a place where God is buried. Spirit Great Ancestor nodded and said, And according to my guess, the numerous secret realms of the void god world were most likely created by God. That's why the map of the Tomb of Massacre appeared on the ancient road of stars. Senior, when does the ancient road of stars usually open? How can one enter the ancient road of stars? Yi Feng suppressed the shock in his heart and continued to ask. I don't know when the ancient road of stars opens, but during our era, as long as one's strength reached the 6-star ancestor realm, they could enter the ancient road of stars. Later on, the heaven race became dominant. In order to prevent outsiders from obtaining the opportunity to become a god, the heaven race forcefully sealed the entrance to the ancient road of stars, leading to a war between the races of the void god world. Spirit Great Ancestor revealed another important piece of information to Yi Feng. Senior, there's still something I don't understand. Yi Feng pondered for a moment before saying, There should only be one chance to become a god, and the heaven race is divided into the heaven race and the heaven race. Logically speaking, Supreme God Heaven and Supreme Emperor Heaven should be competitors with each other. But why are the heaven race so harmonious? I've also thought about this question before. Spirit Great Ancestors said. Later on, I had a bold guess. Perhaps Supreme God Heaven and Supreme Emperor Heaven are one person. One person. Yi Chunfeng's eyes widened, and he was immediately dumbfounded. If it wasn't for one person, the heaven race would have broken off long ago. It would be impossible for them to be so harmonious and control the majority of the Void God world's resources and territory. Spirit Great Ancestor nodded his head and said, "However, this is only my guess. Whether it's the truth or not, you need to find out for yourself." All right, let's go in. After revealing many secrets of the Void God world to Yi Chunfeng, Spirit Great Ancestor brought Yi Chunfeng into the ancient palace. Junior, this god's heart, and the map of the Tomb of Slaughter are my two most precious treasures back then. I will pass them to you now. I hope that after obtaining these two treasures, you can avenge the God race and the Spirit race and destroy the Heaven race. Spirit Great Ancestor instructed. Senior, don't worry. The Heaven race is also my enemy. I will definitely exterminate these ambitious people and return peace to the Void God world. Yi Chunfeng nodded his head and promised. That's right. Junior, ever since I obtained this god's heart, I have not fused with it. I don't know what kind of effect it will have. Therefore, you must be mentally prepared. Perhaps there will be danger when fusing with the god's heart. Spirit Great Ancestor solemnly reminded. Understand, I believe that I can control the god's heart. Yi Chunfeng nodded his head and said in a firm tone, All right, cut open your body now. I will fuse the god's heart into your body and help you transform your physical body to reach a higher realm. Spirit Great Ancestor nodded his head and said, Chi, with a thought, Yi Chunfeng's ancestor sword spirit flew out of his sea of soul and cut open his skin. In the next moment, Spirit Great Ancestor summoned the god's heart and forcibly fused it into Yi Chunfeng's body. So heavy, when the god's heart entered Yi Chunfeng's body, Yi Chunfeng felt as if a towering mountain had appeared in his body. An incomparably heavy force pressed down on his internal organs and made it difficult for him to breathe. Junior, use all of your strength to refine this god's heart. Spirit Great Ancestor said as he looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was unable to withstand the power of the god's heart. Many cracks had appeared on the surface of his body. Spirit Great Ancestor sent energy seals into Yi Chunfeng's body as he spoke. All right, Yi Chunfeng bit his lips and controlled his powerful ancestor Qi and grand mist blood to refine the god's heart. The ancestor Qi's effect of refining the god's heart was minimal. However, the grand mist blood's effect of refining the god's heart was very obvious. Under the grand mist blood's refinement, the god's heart began to slowly fuse with Yi Chunfeng. The burden on his body gradually lessened. Just as Yi Chunfeng was fully immersed in the process of refining the god's heart, the entire death cave was suddenly attacked by a terrifying force. It shook violently and woke Yi Chunfeng up. What's happening? Yi Chunfeng knew very well how terrifying the death cave was. The person who could shake the death cave was definitely not an ordinary virtual god. Don't be distracted. Refine the god's heart with all of your strength. Spirit Great Ancestor's expression did not change as he instructed Lin Huang through voice transmission. Yes, Senior. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. As he fused with the energy seals that Spirit Great Ancestor had sent into his body, he controlled the grand mist blood to fuse with the god's heart. Rumble. Chapter 1962. Senior, who exactly is attacking the death cave? Yi Chunfeng said with a solemn expression. Two terrifying figures appeared in his mind. If I'm not wrong, the one attacking the death cave is Supreme God Heaven. Spirit Ancestor said in a low voice. His calm face revealed a trace of solemnity. Supreme God Heaven, he's really here. Yi Chunfeng's face sank. Don't worry. Although Supreme God Heaven is strong, the death cave is not so easy to break through. Today, I want to experience the strength of the number one person in the void god realm. Spirit Ancestor said domineeringly. He took out a hexagonal plate and quickly crushed it. The hexagonal plate shattered, and all the restrictions in the Death Cave were activated. At this time, Supreme God Heaven, who had shattered the entrance of the Death Cave, stepped on the cold sea water and walked into the Death Cave step by step. The moment he walked into the Death Cave, he suddenly felt the space under his feet change. His expression changed slightly as he turned into a light shadow and moved instinctively. Boom, boom, boom. The moment he moved, a series of explosions rang out. The terrifying explosive force continuously attacked Supreme God Heaven, attacking his body's defense. However, Supreme God Heaven was powerful. The terrifying explosive force was unable to break through his body's defense. In the dense explosions, he was like a stream of light as he advanced at an extremely fast speed. Buzz, buzz. When he passed by a huge array diagram, a powerful teleportation light suddenly surged out from the array diagram and instantly engulfed his body, wanting to teleport him away. Break! When Supreme God Heaven was teleported by the teleportation light, he immediately threw a punch at the huge array diagram. Crack! Supreme God Heaven was known as the number one person in the Void God realm. How terrifying was his punch? With one punch, the huge array diagram immediately shattered. The teleportation light that shot into the sky also disappeared. However, when the teleportation light disappeared, the huge array diagram exploded at this moment. The terrifying explosive force ruthlessly attacked Supreme God Heaven's body's defense, causing small cracks to appear on his body, causing his body to tremble slightly. Interesting. I didn't expect there to be so many restrictions hidden here. I want to see who left this behind. Although Supreme God Heaven knew that there were even more restrictions inside, he was confident in his own strength. He was confident that there was no place in the Void God realm that could threaten him. Tai Shinton gently waved his arm, directly tearing through the center of the explosion, and continued to walk towards the Death Cave. However, he did not know that the path he was taking was completely different from the path Yi Chun-Feng had taken. He was walking step by step towards the most dangerous death cave in the Death Sea. Junior, don't be distracted. Focus on refining the God's heart. Only when you've completely refined the God's heart will I be able to let you leave without worry. Yi Chun-Feng was immediately distracted by the constant explosions. At this time, Spirit Taizu's voice rang out in his ears, solemnly warning him. All right. Yi Chun-Feng took a deep breath and cleared his mind of all distracting thoughts. He controlled the primordial blood to continue refining the heart of God, speeding up the process of assimilating it into his body. With the fusion of the God Spirit heart, Yi Chun-Feng's strength was increasing rapidly. His ancestral power was getting stronger and stronger, and it was reaching its limit. This God Spirit heart is indeed obtained from the ancient Star Road. It's really terrifying. Yi Chun-Feng had just broken through to become a 3-star Dao ancestor. It was impossible for him to break through to 4-star in a short time. However, as he slowly merged the God Spirit heart and the energy talismans, he was shocked to find that his strength was increasing rapidly. He had a feeling that if he refined the God Spirit heart, he might be able to break through to 4-star Dao ancestor. Rumble. When Yi Chun-Feng was fully immersed in the process of refining the God Spirit heart, there was another loud explosion outside the Death Cave. The sound was so strong that it caused the entire Death Cave to shake violently. Amazing. Supreme God Heaven is indeed the number one person in the Void God realm. He's really powerful. Spirit Taizu felt that the restrictions he had left behind in the Death Cave were being destroyed by Supreme God Heaven's absolute strength. However, Supreme God Heaven was not injured. The grave expression on Spirit Taizu's face became thicker. However, the path that Supreme God Heaven took did not lead to the depths of the Death Cave. It was not a threat to Yi Chun-Feng. Very soon, 3 days had passed. In these 3 days, the supreme divine heaven had broken through countless restrictions and was getting closer and closer to the most dangerous death cave in the Dead Sea. What a strong death energy. What's in front? Feeling that the death energy in the space was getting stronger, Supreme God Heaven creased his eyebrows. He was suspicious. However, he did not slow down. He continued to move forward and arrived outside the death cave. This is standing outside the bottomless death cave. Supreme God Heaven creased his eyebrows even tighter as he looked at the skeletons scattered around the death cave. Could this be the place where the Almighty's skeletons were buried back then? Supreme God Heaven muttered to himself. There's something down there. Staring at the bottomless death cave, Supreme God Heaven's powerful senses detected a weak aura fluctuation under the death cave. He immediately leaped into the death cave to check out what was going on. Supreme God Heaven, you think too highly of yourself. Sensing that Supreme God Heaven had leaped into the death cave, Ling Taizu let out a cold smile. He was ready to activate the restriction that he had placed in the death cave to attack Supreme God Heaven. Chaotic stone. This is a chaotic stone. Leaping into the death cave, Supreme God Heaven found a chaotic stone that was a few feet tall in the deepest part of the death cave. Beneath the chaotic stone, there were many skeletons. Looking at the remaining aura on the skeletons, they were extremely powerful when they were alive. Some of them were even half-step to empty God. Chaotic stone keep. Not only could the chaotic stone be used to create supreme ancestral weapons, it could also be used to create empty God weapons. The chaotic stone before him was so huge that even Supreme God Heaven was tempted. Just as he was about to take the chaotic stone away, a powerful aura was awakened within the chaotic stone. Weapon spirit. There's a weapon spirit hidden within the chaotic stone. Supreme God Heaven had not expected that there would be a terrifying weapon spirit hidden within the chaotic stone. Even he had not noticed it. The appearance of the weapon spirit made Supreme God Heaven feel that something was amiss. However, he was too arrogant. Moreover, the chaotic stone was too tempting, and he did not leave immediately. Something's not right. When Supreme God Heaven was forcefully taking the chaotic stone, the weapon spirit hidden within the chaotic stone suddenly self-destructed. The terrifying force of the self-destruction instantly poured into the chaotic stone, detonating the restrictions that Ling Taizu had placed in the chaotic stone over countless years. Boom! Weapon spirit. Thousands of restrictions exploded at the same time. The resulting force shattered the chaotic stone. When the chaotic stone shattered, it triggered the other restrictions in the death cave. The death energy that was suppressed by the chaotic stone exploded at the same time, bombarding Supreme God Heaven, who had nowhere to run. It's a trap. At that moment, Supreme God Heaven realized that he had been tricked. Whether it was the chaotic stone or the weapon spirit, both were bait to lure him. Their purpose was to destroy him. Chapter 1963. Senior, what's wrong? Yi Chunfeng, who was refining the god's heart with all his might, was once again awakened by the huge tremors. He opened his eyes and asked in shock. Just now I used the death cave, a chaos stone, a weapon spirit that I sealed for countless years, and a large number of seals to trick Supreme Shintian. Spirit ancestors said, if I can't severely injure Supreme Shintian, then I can only detonate the death cave. Detonate the death cave. Then senior Yi Chenfeng's expression changed. My lifespan has long reached its end, and I can't live for much longer. You have completed my test and obtained my 2 great treasures. I have no regrets. Furthermore, if I can severely injure Supreme Shintian before I die and teach him a lesson, it's a good choice. All right, don't be distracted. Continue refining the god's heart. After refining it, I'll send you guys away, Spirit Ancestor said. At the same time, the explosion from the death cave was getting more and more intense. Although the Supreme Shintian was the number 1 person in the Void God Realm, and it was rumored that he had 1 foot in the great perfection of the Void God Realm, he was still unable to withstand the explosive power of the death cave. His powerful defensive trump cards were shattered one by one, and his injuries started to worsen. He was even being pushed into the alternate space by this destructive power. Create space. At the critical moment, Supreme Shintan used the most profound 9 levels of the space rules of order to create and repair space, blocking the attack of the Death Cave. Slaughterbody, break for me. Using the created space to forcefully withstand the attack of the Death Cave, Supreme Shintan activated the Massacre body that he had obtained from the Massacre tomb. He forcefully tore open the Death space and escaped towards the Death Cave. Boom, boom, boom. The Death Acupoint continued to explode as waves of terrifying explosive power repeatedly attacked Supreme Shintian's body. However, the Massacre body was extremely terrifying. Using the Massacre body's defense, Supreme Shintian's body defense reached the level of a full body defense. He continued to dissolve the explosive power produced by the Death Cave. When Supreme Shintian, who was extremely fast, flew above the completely collapsed Death Cave, his face turned pale and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. As the number 1 person in the Void God realm, it had been a very, very long time since Supreme Shintian had been injured. This time, he was so angry that he was going crazy. He only wanted to kill people to vent his anger. No matter who schemed against this god swears that I will burn your bones to ashes and exterminate your entire family. Supreme Shintian swore in his heart. Break. Supreme Shintian didn't waste any more time and directly attacked the chaotic space, shattering it one by one. He quickly shuttled through the cave of death, looking for the person who had plotted against him. Supreme Divine Heaven relied on its absolute strength to continuously traverse through space and slowly found its way into the Death Cave. It discovered the invincible divine statue that the Spirit Tribe had left in the Death Cave. Remnant Soul. Sensing the remnant soul in the statue, the furious Tai Shintian reached out his hand and shattered the invincible god statue. He wanted to imprison the remnant soul in the statue. However, Spirit Grand Ancestor was prepared for this. The moment the remnant soul was imprisoned, it immediately exploded, making it impossible for Supreme Divine Heaven to learn the secrets of this place through the remnant soul. Junior, how many gods' hearts have you refined? Supreme Divine Heaven sent a message to the Death Cave, forcing Spirit Grand Ancestor to wake up Yi Chenfeng, who was doing his best to refine the gods' hearts. I should have refined 1/3 of the gods' hearts. Yi Chenfeng opened his tightly shut eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Junior, Supreme Divine Heaven's strength has exceeded my imagination. I can't let you take the risk and stay here. Knowing that Yi Chenfeng had refined 1/3 of the gods' hearts, Spirit Grand Ancestor was slightly relieved. He took out a jade box with many seals and handed it to Yi Chenfeng. This jade box seals the map of the Tomb of Massacre. I will send you to the edge of the Tomb of Massacre in a while. That's right, Junior. I still don't know your name. Senior, Yi Chenfeng. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. This Junior guarantees that he will do his best to exterminate those ambitious people of the Celestial race and take revenge for the Celestial race and the Spirit race. He will return the stability of the universe. Kneeling on the ground, Yi Chenfeng respectfully kowtowed 3 times to Spirit Taizu, who was prepared to die, and promised, Master, I'll help you. Good. I believe you have the ability. Spirit Grand Ancestor nodded and said with relief. He supported Yi Chenfeng with both hands and brought him back to the Divine Spirit Pagoda. Chenfeng, this Divine Spirit Pagoda was my strongest treasure back then. Now, I will give it to you. With a thought, Spirit Grand Ancestor controlled the Divine Spirit Pagoda to shrink infinitely and gave it to Yi Chenfeng. All right, time is of the essence. You can take the 2 of them with you. But because of the seals I placed here, one of them can only leave with your soul. Spirit Grand Ancestor said. So speaking, Spirit Grand Ancestor activated the teleportation array in the depths of the Death Cave. Chenfeng, I really like this body of mine. Can you make that little girl give up her physical body? If you're willing, I'll definitely repay you with everything I have. Zilin purposely grabbed Yi Chenfeng's arm and rubbed her plump breasts as she spoke seductively. If you can't bear to part with your physical body, then leave it here. Yi Chenfeng glanced coldly at Zilin, unmoved. Mu Linger, let's go. You, Hearing Yi Chenfeng's heartless words made Zilin grit her teeth, but there was nothing she could do. After much hesitation, she was forced to give up her burning body and entrust her soul to Yi Chenfeng to leave with him. Chenfeng, the Void God realm is far more complicated than you think. Don't believe what you see with your eyes. Sometimes they can deceive you. Spirit Grand Ancestor warned before activating the teleportation array to send Yi Chenfeng, Mu Linger, and Ziling's souls away. Supreme Shintian, it's about time we put an end to this. Supreme Shintian was one of the masterminds behind the destruction of the God and Spirit clans. Although Spirit Grand Ancestor knew he couldn't kill him with his own strength, he wanted to give Supreme Shintian an unforgettable memory before his death and teach him a painful lesson. Death Cave restrictions open. Spirit Grand Ancestor activated all of the restrictions in the Death Cave and let the furious Supreme Shintian in. Once the restrictions were closed, Supreme Shintian easily locked on his Spirit Grand Ancestor and teleported in like a streak of light. Who are you? Looking at the white-haired Spirit Ancestor, whose face was covered in wrinkles and black death spots, Supreme Shintian vaguely felt that he was somewhat familiar. But Spirit Grand Ancestor was so old that Supreme Shintian didn't recognize him immediately. I am Tai Ling Sheng. Do you still remember me? Spirit Grand Ancestor clasped his hands behind his back as he looked at Supreme Shintian indifferently. He didn't fear his impending death. Tai Ling Sheng, you didn't die and hid here. Although Supreme Shintian didn't recognize the old Spirit Grand Ancestor, he recognized Tai Ling Sheng and revealed a look of surprise. Supreme Shintian, do you want me to die so badly? Spirit Grand Ancestor said mildly. All right, since we used to know each other, I will fulfill your wish. So speaking, Spirit Grand Ancestor took a step forward. Large amounts of array markings appeared beneath his feet, causing the entire Death Cave to change drastically. You're crazy. Supreme Shintian didn't expect Spirit Grand Ancestor to detonate the entire Death Cave. His expression changed. Haha, Supreme Shintian, you're afraid too? Spirit Grand Ancestor laughed maniacally. Supreme Shintian, I hope you'll be satisfied with the gift I give you before I die. Death Cave explode. Chapter 1964. Darkness, boundless darkness. After an unknown amount of teleportation, Yi Chenfeng, Mu Linger, and Zilin's souls arrived in a pitch-black forest. So that's the Tomb of Slaughter? After exiting the teleportation array hidden in the depths of the forest, the powerful god Eaterbrain sensed a mysterious space outside. It was this mysterious space that swallowed up all light and turned this place into a world of darkness. Come, let's talk inside the universe realm. So speaking, Yi Chenfeng sent Mu Linger and Zilin into the universe realm. Time flows 30 times faster. You actually have such a high-level spatial treasure. Zilin's eyes lit up when she sensed the flow of time in the 5th level of the universe realm. Zilin, I have something to say to Mu Linger. Go cultivate on one side. If there's a chance in the future, I'll find you a perfect body. Yi Chenfeng couldn't wait to get the Otherverse ability from Mu Linger, so he sent Zilin away on purpose. What? You two have an affair. Why are you being so secretive? Zilin floated in the air with a pout. Zilin, you speak too much nonsense. If you keep blabbering, I don't mind suppressing you. Yi Chenfeng didn't have a good impression of Zilin and warned her coldly. There's adultery. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's warning, Zilin turned docile and gave a cold snort before walking away. Mu Linger, can you fulfill your promise now and teach me the Otherverse ability? Yi Chenfeng controlled the universe realm energy to seal off the entire space as he looked at Mu Linger's delicate face. Big brother Yi, sit tight. I'll teach you the ability of our universe right now. Mu Linger nodded. Your universe? Mu Linger's words confirmed Yi Chenfeng's suspicions. Mu Linger really did come from the Otherverse. Big brother Yi, what I'm going to teach you is the Dharma Idol Divine Art. In our universe, it's the highest level of divine arts. If you can comprehend it, you can turn your own natal treasure into a Dharma idol. Mu Linger explained in detail. The ability to turn one's life treasure into a Dharma idol. Yi Chunfeng's eyebrows arched, creating waves of emotions. His life treasure was the primal chaos divine wood. If he could turn it into a Dharma idol, it'd be his most lethal weapon. Both its power and potential would surpass the original Tao fetus. Big Brother Yi, concentrate. I'm going to teach you now. So speaking, Mu Linger extended a white finger and tapped Yi Chunfeng's forehead. A powerful wave of soul energy passed through her finger and into Yi Chunfeng's mind. About 2 hours later, Mu Linger finished teaching the complete set of Dharma idol techniques to Yi Chunfeng. Mu Linger, thank you. This Dharma idol ability is very important to me. After briefly browsing through the transcendence technique, Yi Chunfeng's heart was filled with excitement as he said gratefully, this is our agreement. Since you helped me, I naturally have to fulfill my end of the bargain. Mu Linger revealed 2 adorable dimples as she grinned. That's right, Mu Linger. Where will you go from now on? If you don't have a place to go, why don't you stay by my side? Yi Chunfeng wanted to keep the mysterious Mu Linger by his side. All right, but Big Brother Yi, can you help me find a place in the future? I want to go to that place to take the test mark left behind by the ancestors. Mu Linger nodded. Where? Yi Chunfeng asked. That place seems to be called the Primordial Chaos Tomb. Mu Linger said after some thought. The Primordial Chaos Tomb. Yi Chunfeng's eyes widened as he gaped. Could it be that the Primordial Chaos Tomb comes from a different dimension too? Yi Chunfeng suddenly had a bold idea. No problem. I know the general location of the Primordial Chaos Tomb and am preparing to head there when the time is right. If you want to go there, we can travel together. The Primordial Chaos Tomb was the most mysterious tomb in the Void God realm. Although Tai had given him a map of the outskirts, Yi Chunfeng knew that it was as hard as ascending to heaven to take the Primordial Chaos heart away. But Yi Chunfeng never expected Mu Linger to be related to the Primordial Chaos Tomb as well. If he had her help, he might be able to greatly increase his chances of obtaining the Primordial Chaos Tomb. All right, Mu Linger. Just stay here and cultivate for the time being. If you need anything, find Big Sis Xia. She'll take good care of you. Yi Chunfeng brought Mu Linger to Xia Wendy, who was currently cultivating, and transmitted a message to her about Mu Linger's origins. Don't worry, Chunfeng. I'll take good care of Linger. Xia Wendy was very fond of the cute and delicate Mu Linger, so she gently stroked her head as she spoke. After settling Mu Linger down, Yi Chunfeng found a quiet place to cultivate. He cleared away all distracting thoughts and continued to refine the God Spirit heart. At the same time, he tried to cultivate his Dharma idol and turn the primordial chaos wood into his own Dharma idol. 1 day in the outside world was 30 days in the Chinquan realm. Very soon, Yi Chunfeng had cultivated for 90 years in the Chinquan realm. That was 3 years in the outside world. Supreme Divine Heaven had suffered a great loss in the Death Cave and suffered severe injuries. When he returned to the Divine Heaven clan, he immediately went into closed-door cultivation to treat his wounds and shelved the Celestial clan's plans to invade the other clans. Meanwhile, Yi Chunfeng had fused perfectly with the God Spirit heart during these 90 years. Using its massive energy, he broke through to the peak of 4-star Tao Ancestor Realm in one fell swoop. If he wasn't afraid that continuous breakthroughs would cause his cultivation foundation to become unstable and affect his breakthrough to the Void Spirit Realm, the energy in the God Spirit heart would have been enough for him to break through to the 5-star Tao Ancestor Realm. Although he didn't break through, Yi Chunfeng experienced the strength of the God Spirit heart. Fusing with the God Spirit heart in battle could instantly increase his cultivation level by 1 level. Add that to the primordial chaos bloodline, and he could unleash the strength of a peak 6-star Tao ancestor, even without using the life spirit art to burn his lifespan. Despite breaking through, Yi Chunfeng's Dharma idol cultivation had stagnated. He couldn't condense a Dharma idol, so he had no choice but to ask Mu Linger for help. Linger, do you know why I can't condense the primordial chaos wood into a Dharma idol? Yi Chunfeng asked with furrowed brows. Big Brother Yi, don't worry. I see no problems with your Dharma idol cultivation, but you can't break through. It should be because your natal treasure is too powerful, making it more difficult to condense. That's why you can't succeed. Linger propped up her chin with one hand and thought for a while. Then she said, "You should be patient and continue condensing it. I think that once you succeed, your Dharma idol will be unprecedentedly strong." "All right, then I'll patiently condense it for a while longer." Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and continued to immerse himself in the process of condensing the primordial chaos would according to the formula. Very quickly, 5 years passed in the outside world, while 150 years passed in the cosmos realm. Primordial chaos idol, condense. During these 150 years, Yi Chen-feng endured the loneliness and persevered. Finally, he condensed the primordial chaos divine wood into a Dharma idol that looked very similar to himself. However, the Dharma idol far surpassed Yi Chen-feng in terms of strength, and physical strength. Half-step void spirit realm. When the primordial chaos idol broke out of Yi Chen-feng's body, a terrifying aura emanated from his body. Sensing this aura, Yi Chen-feng was certain that his Dharma idol had the battle prowess of a half-step void spirit realm cultivator. P.S. That's it. I'll be posting pictures of Linger and Lin in the morning. Those who want to see can come to Yun Lei's official WeChat account. Just search Yun Lei Tianyu, and please keep clicking on the ads. Thank you. Chapter 1965. Big Brother Yi, congratulations on forming your Dharma idol. Seeing Yi Chen-feng's Dharma idol, Linger ran over happily. Try fusing with your Dharma idol and see the effect. All right. Yi Chen-feng nodded. Chaos Dharma idol, fuse. Under Yi Chen-feng's telepathic communication, Yi Chen-feng fused with the Dharma idol. In the next moment, Yi Chen-feng's strength rose steadily until he had the battle strength of a half-step void god. With the help of the primordial blood and the god spirit heart, he could fight with a low-level void god. With the help of the divine sword devouring heaven, he could even kill a low-level void god. Dharma idol divine ability is truly heaven-defying. Feeling his own soaring battle strength, Yi Chen-feng revealed a satisfied smile. With my current battle strength, I should be able to open the last level of the universe realm. As he spoke, Yi Chen-feng came to the edge of the 5th level of the universe realm and tried to break through the last spatial restriction. Boom! Yi Chen-feng fused with the Dharma idol. His battle strength was too terrifying. In an instant, he broke through the last spatial restriction and entered the core space of the universe realm. Time flows 50 times faster. After entering the core space of the universe realm, Yi Chen-feng discovered that the flow of time here was 50 times faster than the outside world. The immortal qi was in a liquid state and flowed in the space like water. That's... Yi Chen-feng scanned the small core space of the universe realm and discovered a 3 zhang tall, milky white divine tree without any leaves. It had long withered. Beneath the divine tree sat an old man who had already lost all signs of life. This is the divine tree of time. Looking at the milky white divine tree, the god-devouring brain quickly deduced the origins of this divine tree. It was one of the 3 great divine trees of the universe, the divine tree of time, which contained the mysterious laws of time. The fact that the universe realm can speed up time is related to this divine tree of time. Yi Chen-feng had originally guessed that there was most likely a divine wood of time within the universe realm. Otherwise, the universe realm would not be able to accelerate the flow of time so abnormally fast. However, the divine wood of time and the old man had already died, which greatly affected its value. However, if he studied it for a while, there was still a chance that he could comprehend the laws of time contained within the divine wood of time. This old man should be the Heaven clan's heaven and earth ancestor. Thinking of the information Long Xiaotian had told him, Yi Chen-feng guessed the identity of the heaven and earth ancestor. Yi Chen-feng was not interested in his death. However, when Yi Chen-feng stared at his physical body, he discovered that his physical body was very strong and contained powerful will of Tao. Ancestor of the universe, I wonder if Lin will like this body. The corners of Yi Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a strange smile. Wang. When Yi Qinfeng's finger touched the heaven and earth ancestor's body, his eyes closed tightly. The heaven and earth ancestor, who should have been dead, suddenly opened his eyes. A powerful soul energy shot out from his eyes and surged into Yi Qinfeng's soul sea. A soul that hasn't dissipated yet. Facing the sudden attack of the heaven and earth ancestor's soul sea, Yi Qinfeng did not panic. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly devour the soul. In an instant, the heaven and earth ancestor's soul was devoured by the God-Eater brain. After losing his soul, the heaven and earth ancestor closed his eyes and no longer had a trace of life. I wonder what else is in the core space of the universe realm. After exterminating the cosmos ancestor's lingering soul, Yi Qinfeng scanned the entire core space of the cosmos realm. He discovered that there were many precious holy objects of heaven and earth here. However, as his strength increased, these holy objects of heaven and earth were no longer of much value to him. And this is Broken Weapon, Chaos Stone. After sensing the core space of the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng discovered that not far from the divine wood of time, there was a huge broken divine saber and a huge chaos stone beside it. From the aura of the divine saber, it should be a supreme grade ancestral artifact. It seems like this divine saber should be the heaven and earth ancestor's weapon. He originally wanted to use the chaos stone to repair the divine saber, but because of his heavy injuries, he died in the end. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself as he put away the broken divine saber and chaos stone, preparing to repair it and give it to the chaos divine beast. Lin, come here. Sensing that there was nothing valuable in the core space of the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng summoned Lin, who was living on a rebirth tree, into the core space of the universe realm. 50 times faster time flow. Yi Qinfeng, what kind of spatial treasure is this? Lin asked with a burning gaze. Lin, you talk too much nonsense. Yi Qinfeng said coldly, Come, I've already found a perfect body for you, but whether you want it or not is your business. Perfect body, it's him. Following Yi Qinfeng's finger, Lin saw the heaven and earth ancestor's physical body and was instantly stunned. Big brother, you're not joking, right? The body you found for me is an old man. Yes, it's this old man. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, his strength should have reached the peak of 6-star ancestor realm when he was alive, and his physical body contains the will of the great path. If you can refine it, you can recover your peak strength in a short time and even have a chance to step into the half-step virtual god realm. But I'm a woman. Lin really could not accept the fact that she had become an old man. You don't have to think of yourself as a woman. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. All right, I've already found a physical body for you. Whether you want it or not is your business. Yi Qinfeng looked at the hesitant Lin and said, Can you still find me another physical body? Lin stared at the heaven and earth ancestor's old face, and the more she looked, the more uncomfortable she felt. All right, if you really can't accept it, then forget it, but you have to know how difficult it is to find a female peak ancestor realm physical body. Moreover, I've already found a suitable physical body for you, but you can't accept it, so even if I can't find one in the future, I won't be breaking the contract. Yi Qinfeng shrugged. But, Lin, you have to be clear, what are you pursuing? Is it beauty or supreme great path? Yi Qinfeng interrupted Lin. When you step into the virtual god realm one day, you won't have to worry about not finding a perfect physical body or a spiritual item that can reconstruct a virtual god physical body. All right, I'll accept the physical body you found for me. Yi Qinfeng's words completely moved Lin. She gritted her teeth and finally made up her mind. All right, don't be sad. In the future, you'll know how right your choice today is. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, Also, aren't you interested in men? Now that you've become a man, you can do whatever you want. Big brother, this is an old man. Lin said sullenly. What's wrong with being an old man? An old man is also a man. Looking at the depressed Lin, Yi Qinfeng's smile grew wider. You Zilin was so angry at Yi Chunfeng that her entire body trembled. She ignored him and directly entered the heaven and earth ancestors' soul sea to reincarnate. Zilin's soul was incomparably powerful, and she quickly took control of the heaven and earth ancestors' physical body. However, when she borrowed the heaven and earth ancestors' physical body to reincarnate, she cried miserably. Zilin, who was confident in her charm, became an old man. Chapter 1966. The Tomb of Massacre was one of the 3 great tombs in the universe. When the Tomb of Massacre appeared in the Void God world, it alarmed the various races in the Void God world. They worked together to borrow the Void God artifact to forcefully break through the restrictions of the Tomb of Massacre. They entered the Tomb of Massacre and divided the unparalleled opportunities in the Tomb of Massacre. However, according to the Tomb of Massacre map that Ling Taizu gave to Yi Chunfeng, there was a mysterious tomb within the Tomb of Massacre. The tomb within the tomb was hidden very deeply, and it was very likely that it had not been discovered by the various races. I hope the tomb within the tomb is still there. Yi Chunfeng flew in the dark space like a ghost. He approached the entrance of the Tomb of Massacre and prepared to sneak in. Who is it? When Yi Chunfeng approached the Tomb of Massacre, he triggered the restrictions at the entrance of the Tomb of Massacre and alarmed more than 10 Sky race experts guarding the entrance. Primitive Dao fetus kill. When his whereabouts were discovered, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned his 6-star primitive Dao fetus and his ancestral sword soul to kill more than 10 Sky race experts. The Sky race experts guarding the entrance of the Tomb of Massacre had extraordinary strength. 2 of them were even 3-star heavenly ancestors. However, compared to Yi Chunfeng and the primitive Dao fetus, there was still a huge gap in strength. Under the frenzied slaughter of Yi Chunfeng and the primitive Dao fetus, more than 10 Sky race experts were instantly killed by the 2 of them. They turned into clouds of blood mist and scattered with the wind. Godless sword break. After killing more than 10 celestial race powerhouses at lightning speed, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled his ancestral sword spirit to transform into a black divine sword. With an indomitable will, he pierced through the seal at the entrance of the Tomb of Slaughter and entered the Tomb of Slaughter. What a dense death aura! After entering the Tomb of Massacre, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt that the Tomb of Massacre was filled with a large amount of death aura. However, because the Tomb of Massacre was penetrated by the various races using their Void God artifacts, there was not much danger. Yi Chunfeng shuttled through the Tomb of Massacre at an extremely fast speed and flew towards the tomb within the tomb marked on the map. Yes, there's someone. Yi Chunfeng flew rapidly in the Tomb of Slaughter for more than 2 hours. When he passed by a rapidly flowing black river, he sensed a powerful aura within the black river. And this aura was so strong that it reached the peak of the 5-star ancestor realm. Interesting. I didn't expect you to have the ability to enter this place when the outside is sealed. A large number of bubbles emerged from the black river. A skinny old man in a black robe with messy hair emerged from the black river. He stared at Yi Chunfeng with glowing eyes and said, "Don't worry, Yi Chunfeng, 5-star devil ancestor." Yi Chunfeng immediately guessed the black-robed old man's identity when he sensed the thick demonic aura emanating from his body. "Human Junior, you shouldn't have come to this place," 5-star devil ancestor ferociously said. "If you come here, you won't be able to leave alive." After breaking through to the 4-star ancestor realm, Yi Chunfeng's fleshly body had exceeded 900 billion gene. Just by relying on his powerful fleshly body, he could kill a 5-star ancestor realm expert. Boom! With a single punch, the space within the Tomb of Massacre exploded. A terrifying fist light, carrying with it a suffocating strength, bombarded the 5-star devil ancestor. Black River destroy. Sensing the power of Yi Chunfeng's punch, 5-star devil ancestor's complexion changed slightly. He immediately mobilized the power of the Black River to resist, breaking apart Yi Chunfeng's punch. "I didn't expect you to be able to refine this Black River." Sensing that the Black River had fused with 5-star devil ancestor, Yi Chunfeng guessed that the Black River should be a treasure. Limitless chaos. Although the Black River was powerful, it could not threaten Yi Chunfeng. Surging primal chaos energy gushed out of Yi Chunfeng's body, quickly condensing into a towering primal chaos divine tree phantom behind him. With a single strike, the primal chaos energy and a force of 900 billion kilograms fused together with the 4 ancestral Tao diagrams, transforming into a limitless great Tao that blasted apart the Black River that was attacking like a black dragon, bombarding the 5-star fiend ancestor. Puff! Although the Black River had neutralized the majority of the limitless chaos attack, the terrifying aftershock still heavily injured 5-star devil ancestor, sending him flying. His withered body was nearly blown apart. Experiencing the terror of Yi Chunfeng, 5-star devil ancestor became timid. Without thinking, he quickly fled into the tomb of slaughter. Whoosh! 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 Yi Chunfeng summoned his undying wings and chased after the fleeing 5-star devil ancestor at an extremely fast speed. In just 10 breaths of time, he caught up and continued to launch a ferocious attack. Bone Dragon appear. The severely injured 5-star devil ancestor simply could not resist Yi Chunfeng's ferocious attack. He quickly summoned a massive and ferocious bone dragon to fight against Yi Chunfeng. Ghost Race Divine Ability. Seeing the 5-star devil ancestor summon a ghost dragon, Yi Chunfeng did not reduce his speed and crashed into it. The collision with nearly a trillion gene of strength directly shattered the several thousand meters long ghost dragon. Ancestor-level sword soul, exterminate. After shattering the ghost dragon, Yi Chunfeng appeared in front of the panicking 5-star devil ancestor, as if he had teleported. He summoned an ancestor-level sword soul and slashed at him. A sword broke through his defense and cleaved him in half, killing him on the spot. After killing the 5-star devil ancestor, Yi Chunfeng collected his remains and continued to fly into the tomb of slaughter. Not long after flying, he encountered the attack of a similarly terrifying heavenly ancestor. After fusing with the heart of God and breaking through to the 4-star Tao ancestor realm, Yi Chunfeng's combat strength was too terrifying. In less than 10 breaths of time, he killed a 5-star heavenly ancestor. I never thought that this tomb of slaughter would actually be invaded by the celestial race and the demon race. As he went deeper, Yi Chunfeng constantly encountered experts from the celestial race and the demon race, engaging in fierce battles with them in the tomb of slaughter. Restriction Stone. About 3 days later, the frenzied Yi Chunfeng arrived at the depths of the tomb of slaughter. According to the map, he found an ordinary boulder, and this boulder was the first entrance to the tomb within a tomb. Ancestor-level sword soul, break. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng controlled the ancestor-level sword soul to attack with all its might, tearing apart the restriction of the restriction stone and entering inside. Footprints. Why are there footprints here? Could it be that someone entered here before me? After entering the space of the restriction stone, Yi Chunfeng unexpectedly discovered a shallow footprint, and his brows furrowed. I hope the tomb within a tomb hasn't been discovered by anyone. Although Yi Chunfeng wasn't sure what treasures were in the tomb within a tomb, he felt that the opportunities in the tomb within a tomb would not be worse than those in the tomb of slaughter. Yi Chunfeng took out the map, identified the direction, and flew towards the second entrance of the tomb within a tomb. The tomb of slaughter hid a large number of celestial race and demon race supreme experts, but the tomb within a tomb was very quiet, and there were no foreign supreme experts. However, as the distance between them increased, Yi Chunfeng encountered a number of unpredictable and bizarre attacks from ghosts. God-Eater Brain, Devour. Facing a large number of ghostly attacks, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the God-Eater Brain and controlled it to devour the ghostly attacks. Soon, Yi Chunfeng found the second entrance of the tomb within a tomb, tore apart the restriction, and entered deeper into the tomb of slaughter. There are still footprints. When he entered the second layer of the tomb, Yi Chunfeng discovered a set of shallow footprints. It seems that someone really came here before me. Yi Chun-feng muttered to himself, and from the footprints, that person should have just arrived and is still here. Feeling that someone was searching for the tomb within a tomb like him, Yi Chun-feng couldn't help but be cautious. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce and carefully advance. Chapter 1967. Skeletons. There are so many skeletons of Ba. After entering the dim and eerie tomb within the tomb, Yi Chun-feng realized that there were many skeletons of Ba the king of zombies scattered around the tomb. Judging from the traces left behind by the skeletons, the Ba had not been dead for long. It seems like the person is in the tomb within the tomb. Yi Chun-feng's face grew even more solemn. If the person in the tomb was an empty god like Supreme Emperor Heaven, Yi Chun-feng would not be able to fight against him even if he cultivated the chaotic Dharma. However, after observing the skeletons of the Ba, Yi Chun-feng felt that the person who had entered the tomb within the tomb might not be an empty god. With the strength of an empty god and the power of a territory, the Ba skeletons would not have been left behind. They would have been crushed instantly. I hope I'm right. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. Yi Chun-feng suppressed the hesitation in his heart and continued forward carefully. After a while, he suddenly stopped and summoned the Space Swallower. Space Swallower, quickly carve out a passage for me to leave the Tomb of Slaughter. Yi Chun-feng did not know what kind of danger was waiting for him in the tomb within the tomb. To be safe, he left the primitive embryo of Tao and the Space Swallower behind to make a path out of the tomb within the tomb to prevent any accidents. After instructing the primitive embryo of Tao to protect the Space Swallower, Yi Chun-feng continued to move forward carefully. Roar! Roar! He didn't know how long he had been walking, but suddenly, angry dragon roars entered his ears. The terrifying sound shook the tomb, and the death energy in the tomb rolled violently like a tsunami. Half-step to empty god. Hearing the dragon's roar, Yi Chun-feng immediately controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the situation. He extended his brain and sensed a half-step to empty god's aura fighting against the Een dragon that was as strong as a half-step to empty god. It's a half-step to empty god, not an empty god. Yi Chun-feng let out a long sigh of relief, completely relieved. The chaotic Dharma that he had cultivated could even fight a low-level empty god, let alone a half-step to empty god. Knowing the strength of the enemy, he was completely relieved. However, he didn't want to alert the enemy. Instead, he used the Mirage Blood to conceal his aura and hid in the dark. He watched from afar, preparing to reap the benefits. Ascension Breaking Sword. The half-step void god covered in a black robe suddenly formed thousands of feather swords and attacked the Een dragon that was almost 10,000 meters long. It was covered in scales the size of water tanks and had a pair of coral dragon horns on its head. It was emitting a terrifying Een chi. Chi chi chi. Under the attack of the half-step virtual god's featherbreak sword, the scales on the Een dragon's body were immediately shattered. The immense pain enraged the terrifying Een dragon, causing it to attack the half-step virtual god madly. Although both of them were at half-step virtual god level, the Een dragon could continuously absorb the death force in the tomb within the tomb to increase its combat strength. Under its frenzied attacks, the half-step virtual god's attacks were constantly suppressed, and the half-step virtual god was forced to retreat continuously. Ascension Breaking Sword. It's someone from Ascension Palace. Yi Chun-feng raised his brows, revealing a surprised expression. It was not a divine tribe or devil tribe almighty who found the tomb within the tomb, but an almighty from Ascension Palace. Who exactly is this person? Yi Chun-feng kept guessing in his heart as he looked at the figure shrouded in a black robe and enshrouded in a layer of peculiar energy. He couldn't see through it. Could it be her? Suddenly, a person appeared in Yi Chun-feng's mind. God-Eater brain deduced quickly. In order to figure out the half-step virtual god's identity, Yi Chun-feng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce quickly, attempting to penetrate the energy shield around the half-step virtual god. However, the energy shield was very peculiar. The God-Eater brain could not penetrate it even when it tried its best. Yi Chun-feng had no choice but to give up. At that moment, The half-step virtual god whose attacks were suppressed suddenly changed her tactics. Beams of glaring white light shone from her body. Ascension Void. The half-step virtual god deduced several ancestral-level Tao intents to the maximum, turning them into a ball of light formed by countless light feathers. When a ferocious dragon crashed into the ball of light aggressively, countless light feathers shot out, transforming into thousands of illusions, attacking the dragon at close range. Roar, 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 roar. The dragon's gigantic body was riddled with holes after being attacked by the half-step virtual god's ascension void. A large amount of silvery white blood flowed out like a waterfall. Light territory. After injuring the dragon with ascension void, the half-step virtual god followed up with another attack. She opened up a powerful light territory and launched a fatal attack on the dragon. Human, I'm going to kill you. Under the attack of the light territory, the dragon's injuries continued to worsen. In anger, the dragon opened its bloody mouth and spat out the source of its power, the dragon pearl. It tore through the light territory and attacked the half-step virtual god at close range. Poof! Under the powerful attack of the dragon pearl, the half-step virtual god's body defense was shattered. She fell from the sky like a kite with a broken string, leaving behind a cloud of blood mist. Die! After spitting out the dragon pearl and severely injuring the half-step virtual god, the dragon glared with its blood-red eyes and continued to launch a ferocious attack. It was determined to tear the half-step virtual god apart. Triple Life Force Destroy. At the critical moment, the half-step virtual god summoned a dazzling stone that contained terrifying energy and attacked the dragon, neutralizing its attack. Triple Life Baby Stone. This is Yu Yeming's Triple Life Baby Stone. It's really her. Looking at the Triple Life Baby Stone summoned by the half-step virtual god, Yi Qinfeng immediately recognized that it was the Triple Life Baby Stone that belonged to Yu Yeming. He could basically confirm the half-step virtual god's identity. How did she find this place? Yi Qinfeng mumbled to himself. After confirming that the half-step virtual god before him was the Feather Moon Saintess from Feather Palace, Yi Qinfeng was ready to help. Just then, the dragon that was severely injured by the Triple Life Baby Stone went berserk again. It burned the dragon pearl and forcefully tore apart the Triple Life Force that was reflected by the Triple Life Baby Stone. It continued to launch deadly attacks at the Feather Moon Saintess. Poof, poof, poof. Under the dragon's frenzied attacks, the Feather Moon Saintess's injuries continued to worsen. The Triple Life Baby Stone that was fully focused on defense dimmed as well. Boom! The Triple Life Baby Stone collided with the dragon pearl that was completely burning. The terrifying impact knocked the Triple Life Baby Stone away. Oh no! The Feather Moon Saintess did not expect the dragon before her to be so difficult to deal with. Her expression changed slightly, and she wanted to dodge it immediately. Roar! Roar! The dragon let out a terrifying roar that pierced through the clouds and into the Feather Moon Saintess's soul. Her soul trembled. The next moment, the dragon pearl that had knocked away the Triple Life Baby Stone landed heavily on her body. The horrifying dragon power flooded in her body like a flood. It tore apart all her meridians and damaged her organs. It even cracked her saint core. Bang! The Feather Moon Saintess spat out blood. She was knocked away by the dragon pearl. She crashed into many mounds and fell thousands of feet away in pain. She had lost all ability to fight back. Lowly human, you shall become a dead soul in my mouth. The dragon opened its bloody mouth and bit toward the heavily injured Feather Moon Saintess who could not fight back. Just as the Feather Moon Saintess fell into despair and her life was hanging by a thread, an invincible sword with godly light suddenly appeared. It tore apart the space and chopped toward the dragon's house-size head. The dragon's head was its most offensive part. It was covered in layers of scales, and not even a top-quality ancestral artifact could break through its defenses. But this divine sword that had suddenly appeared had easily cut off its massive head. A large amount of blood gushed out like a fountain, dyeing the entire ground red. Then the invincible sword cut off the Een dragon's head. It then chopped toward its 10,000-meter-long body, cutting it in half and killing it on the spot. Dead, dead. Chapter 1968. The light pierced into the feather moon Saintess's eyes. Then she felt her mouth was opened. A sweet liquid flowed down her throat and into her body. Slowly, she woke up from her coma. Who? Who saved me? The feather moon Saintess opened her tired eyes slowly. Looking at the strange surroundings, she gradually regained consciousness. It's him. How could it be him? How could he be here? And how could he save me? When the feather moon Saintess saw Yi Chenfeng, who was gazing at her in silence, she opened her beautiful eyes wide. She couldn't believe what had happened. A trace of panic appeared in her heart. Never in her wildest dreams would she have thought that Yi Chenfeng would be the one to save her life at the moment of her life and death. You're awake. Looking at the feather moon Saintess who had woken up, Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly. For some reason, Yi Chenfeng looked at the face of the feather moon Saintess and found it familiar. He even had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. But with the help of the God-eating brain, Yi Chenfeng felt that there was a layer of illusory light covering the face of the feather moon Saintess, which concealed her real appearance. And the illusory light should have come from the Three Lives stone. Who is she? Why does she give me such a familiar feeling? It's like déjà vu. The more Yi Chenfeng looked at the feather moon Saintess, the more familiar she looked. He tried to deduce with the help of the God-eating brain. He wanted to see through the illusory face of the feather moon Saintess and see her real appearance. Sensing Yi Chenfeng's stare, the feather moon Saintess started to feel nervous. She struggled to sit up, but found that her injuries were much more serious than she had thought. She had only moved a little, but she felt a pain in her heart. She felt as if her veins and organs were being torn apart. You're badly injured. You better not move. I will try my best to heal you. Looking at the feather moon Saintess, who was bleeding from the corner of her mouth, Yi Chenfeng said with concern. He handed her a living holy grass and asked her to take it. Yi Chenfeng, why are you here? The feather moon Saintess tried to calm herself down. She ate the living soul grass and stabilized her wounds. She looked at Yi Chenfeng in silence. I found this place by chance. Yi Chenfeng said vaguely. What about you? How did you get here? Like you, I found this place by accident. After that, the Saintess of Feather Moon resumed her silence. She sat cross-legged on the ground and started to heal herself silently. Saintess, do we know each other? Yi Chenfeng suddenly asked as he looked at the Feather Moon Saintess. Yes. The aura of the Feather Moon Saintess fluctuated slightly. She couldn't help but lift the corner of her mouth. Aren't you the brother of my son? Yu Yiming? No, what I mean is, do we know each other? A long, long time ago. Yi Chenfeng felt the faint energy fluctuation from the Feather Moon Saintess confirmed his guess. He continued to ask. I don't know him. The Feather Moon Saintess shook her head and said firmly. Then can you listen to a story? Yi Chenfeng said after a few seconds of silence. After that, he told the story of how he met Yu Nikhang in the soul-fighting continent, how they got to know each other, and how they fell in love. My wife said that she would continue our relationship after I ascended to the Void God realm one day. Do you think she would lie to me? I don't know. The Feather Moon Saintess said after a long silence. Why? Nikhang, would you lie to me? Yi Chenfeng stared at the Feather Moon Saintess, who was a bit flustered, and asked loudly. Yi Chenfeng, did you get the wrong person? Who is Nikhang? The Feather Moon Saintess calmed down immediately. Her voice was cold and arrogant. Nikhang, you don't have to pretend anymore. I have seen through your real face. Yi Chenfeng finally saw through the Feather Moon Saintess' real face with the help of the God-eating brain. She was Yu Nikhang, the wife that Yi Chenfeng had been thinking about day and night. I told you that you got the wrong person. I am not Nikhang. The Feather Moon Saintess shook her head and said coldly. Nikhang, have you forgotten what I said? I have done what you said. Isn't that enough? Yi Chenfeng said loudly, clenching his fists. You should be asking your wife these questions, not me. The Feather Moon Saintess closed her eyes slowly and said emotionlessly, I am going to heal myself. I hope you will not disturb me. Nikhang, I don't know what you were worried about. Even if the sky falls, we will hold it together. Yi Chen-feng said while gritting his teeth. Silence. Nick Hang, do you know that I risked my life to find you in the void god world? Silence. Nick Hang, have you really forgotten me? Have you forgotten everything? Silence. No matter what Yi Chen-feng said, the Feather Moon Saintess, who was sitting cross-legged and healing herself, remained silent. While the Feather Moon Saintess was indifferent to Yi Chen-feng, she suddenly felt that Yi Chen-feng was pouncing on her. She opened her eyes wide and panicked. She instinctively wanted to resist. However, her injuries were too severe, so she couldn't struggle at all. Yi Chen-feng opened his arms and hugged her tightly. In the next moment, Yi Chen-feng pushed the Feather Moon Saintess to the ground and kissed Yu Nichong's soft lips. Wham! Their lips touched. The Feather Moon Saintess' mind went blank. A familiar and domineering aura spread from her lips and attacked her heart. Feeling the heat from Yi Chen-feng's body and hearing his strong heartbeat, the Feather Moon Saintess' body tightened. She instinctively resisted. However, Yi Chen-feng hugged her too tightly. The Feather Moon Saintess' breasts were completely deformed. She even had difficulty breathing. She could not get rid of Yi Chen-feng's arms. As Yi Chen-feng kissed her harder and harder, the seal in the Feather Moon Saintess' mind was broken bit by bit. A large amount of sealed memories poured into her mind. Her resistance became weaker and weaker. Her body was melted by Yi Chen-feng's domineering aura. When the Feather Moon Saintess felt that she was going to melt and suffocate, Yi Chen-feng stopped the strong kiss and helped her up from the ground. Nick Hang, do you remember me? Looking at the Feather Moon Saintess, whose face was blushing and whose eyes were getting softer and softer, Yi Chen-feng looked in her eyes and asked, Chen-feng, do you know that if we meet again, you might die? The seal in the Feather Moon Saintess' mind was broken. She could no longer control her emotions. She said while biting her wet lips, I told you, even if the sky falls, we will hold it together. No one and nothing can stop us from being together. Yi Chen-feng shook his head and said domineeringly, Are you sure? The Feather Moon Saintess kept making a decision. If you lose me, you may have more. No, if I lose you, I lose everything. Even if I have the whole universe, it will be meaningless. Yi Chen-feng shook his head and said resolutely, Chen-feng, kiss me. Yi Chen-feng's domineering and warm words melted the Feather Moon Saintess completely. She threw away all her worries. She reached out her soft and slender arms to Yi Chen-feng's neck and kissed him. Hugging each other tightly, the two of them kissed again. Chapter 1969. Come, Nick Hang, take this. It's good for your injuries. Yi Chen-feng took out an incomparably precious Life Origin Spirit Pearl and handed it to Yu Nick Hang. Life Origin Spirit Pearl. Yu Nick Hang was someone who knew what was good for her. Her eyes immediately lit up. Although her injuries were serious and had damaged her foundation, the Life Origin Spirit Pearl could still heal her injuries. She did not stand on ceremony with Yi Chen-feng. She raised her head and swallowed the Life Origin Spirit Pearl into her stomach. She quickly refined it, healing her injuries and repairing her broken meridians. About a day later, Yu Nichong's injuries recovered at an extremely fast speed under the Life Origin Spirit Pearl's healing. Her broken meridians also gradually healed. Seeing Yu Nick Hang gradually recover, Yi Chen-feng's hanging heart calmed down. However, there was still one thing that pressed down on his heart like a stone. The exceptionally intelligent Yu Nick Hang looked at Yi Chen-feng, who seemed to want to say something but hesitated, and said with a smile, Chen-feng, do you have something to ask me? Facing Yu Nichong's crescent-shaped eyes, Yi Chen-feng took a deep breath and asked, Nick Hang, I want to know if Yu Yiming is our child. Isn't Yu Yiming your brother? Yu Nichong's smile grew even wider. I remember that someone dragged Ming to find me and said that they wanted to become sworn brothers. At that time, I really should have agreed. Hearing Yu Nichong's witty words and looking at her charming face, Yi Chen-feng confirmed his guess. He was speechless. To call his son brother and even want to become sworn brothers, he was probably the first person in the void god world to do this. Fortunately, you stopped it back then. Otherwise, it would have really become a joke. Yi Chen-feng said with lingering fear. The more he thought about this matter, the more his head hurt. Oomph. How are you going to thank me? After accepting Yi Chunfeng again, Yu Niking no longer suppressed her emotions, and her tone became relaxed. Can I thank you with my body? A mischievous smile appeared on Yi Chunfeng's face as he pushed Moon Raiment to the ground. Amidst her panting, he took off her clothes. The two of them, who had been separated for more than 100 years, had forgotten the gloomy and terrifying environment around them. Up and down, up and down, up and down, they flirted with each other. The sounds of their breathing and collisions were endless after entangling for a long time. The two who had climbed to the peak hugged each other and poured out their hearts. By the way, Nick Heng, are you having a bad time in the Yuhua Palace? Did Yu Huashan secretly join the sky race and become their lackey? Yi Chunfeng said as he gently hugged Yu Nichong's soft and smooth body and stroked her long black hair. After I was reborn, I did find that Yu Huashan had changed. He has become extremely shrewd, scary, and unpredictable. Yu Niking snuggled in Yi Chunfeng's arms and said, secretly, he is indeed very close to the sky race. It is just as I guessed. Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself, Nick Heng, you just said that reuniting with me would harm me. Why is that? Because Yu Huashan wholeheartedly wants to have a marriage with the sky race and get close to this big tree. He wants to betroth me to the grandson of the supreme sky race, Tian Jugu, who is half-step into the nihility god realm. But I have always been against it. Yu Nikhang said, if he knows of your existence, he will definitely kill you. Nikhang, how is Yu Huashan's strength? Yi Chunfeng frowned and asked in a low voice. Yu Huashan should have 1 foot in the middle stage of the nihility god realm, and he also has the 3 lives bronze coffin. The coffin is suppressing a nihility god realm zombie king Ba. Also, the 3 lives stone, the treasure of the Yuhua Palace that has been passed down for countless years, is in Yu Huashan's hands. With the help of the 3 lives stone, he definitely has the strength to fight with a middle-stage nihility god realm expert. Yu Nikang continued to talk about Yu Huashan's situation. Nikang, how did you find this place? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a while and continued to ask. The tomb within the tomb in the Tomb of Massacre was calculated by Yu Huashan with the help of the 3 lives stone. Because he was in seclusion refining a treasure he brought back from the Tomb of Massacre, he had no time to spare, so he asked me to bring the 3 lives stone here. Yu Nikhang said, the 3 lives stone. Yi Chunfeng slightly frowned and said, Nikhang, take out the 3 lives stone and let me see. Chunfeng, you suspect that there's a problem with the 3 lives stone? Yu Nikhang slightly raised her eyebrows and asked. Yes, if it is like what you said, Yu Huashan is very shrewd. He would definitely not let you come here alone. He must have a backup plan, and this backup plan is very likely to be hidden in the 3 lives stone. Yi Chunfeng nodded and took the 3 lives stone from Yu Nikhang. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly calculate and sense the situation of the 3 lives stone. Under the God-Eater brain's probing, Yi Chunfeng felt a deeply hidden soul imprint in the 3 lives stone. Indeed, I guessed right, this 3 lives stone has a soul memory. Yi Chunfeng opened his tightly closed eyes and said, Nikhang, do you know what treasures are in this tomb? I don't know, Yu Huashan did not say, but this tomb of slaughter seems to be a tomb created by God. There must be a big secret hidden in this tomb. Yu Nikhang shook her head and said, Nikhang, since this Yu Huashan is not a good person, you should not work for him anymore. When we get the treasures in the tomb, you can find an excuse to take Yi Ming out, and we will all run away. Yi Chunfeng suggested. Run away? Yu Nikhang shook her head and said, Chunfeng, things are not as simple as you think. My life jade is in Yu Huashan's hands. If I leave Yu Huashan Palace, with his personality, he will definitely crush the life jade and take my life. Life jade? Yi Chunfeng's brows tightly knitted together. He knew that the life jade was a very advanced method to control one's life. Once the life jade was controlled, one's life would also be controlled. In order to break the restriction of the life jade, one must either take back the life jade or have a strength stronger than Yu Huashan. Chunfeng, don't worry about me. I believe that our family will be together one day. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's increasingly gloomy face, Yu Nikhang gently held his big hand and said with a firm tone, "Yes, my parents should be coming out of seclusion soon. When they come out, I will ask them to come with me to Yu Huashan Palace to propose marriage. If Yu Huashan dares to stop us, then don't blame me for not being polite to him." Yi Chenfeng's eyes revealed traces of fierceness as he said overbearingly, "Your parents?" Yu Nikhang asked with some surprise. "Chengfeng, are your parents from the Void God world?" "Yes, I won't hide it from you. My father is Yi Wuji. My mother is Shun Yaotian." Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, "What? You are the child of Wuji God and Yaotian God?" Yu Nikhang opened her eyes wide and said in disbelief, "In the recent opening of the ancient Road of Stars, Yi Wuji and Shun Yaotian were the two people who were in the limelight in the entire Void God world. Their strength was also at the top of the Void God world. Even the two clan leaders of the Sky race could not do anything to them at that time. Nikhang, now you know how powerful your husband is." Yi Chenfeng gently hugged Yu Nikhang in his arms and said, "If Yu Huashan dares to hurt me, I will definitely destroy Yu Huashan Palace and scatter his soul. Let's go deeper into the tomb and see what kind of opportunities are hidden here." Yi Chenfeng suggested, "Also, seal the 3 lives young stone as much as possible and don't use it again." "Yes, I'll listen to you." Yu Nikhang did not expect Yi Chenfeng's background to be so deep. She was completely relieved and forcefully sealed the 3 lives young stone. She followed Yi Chenfeng into the tomb in search of great opportunities. Chapter 1970. Light. There's light up ahead. Yi Chenfeng and Yu Nikhang followed the map in their hands and rapidly advanced for more than 2 hours. Suddenly, they saw faint traces of light up ahead and immediately flew over. A mass of tombs. What a large mass of tombs. When they arrived at the light, Yi Chenfeng and Li Wuyo saw a huge group of tombs in front of them. The tombs were dark green in color and were majestically built, as if they were made by a celestial being. Right in front of the entrance of the tombs was a stone tablet that was more than 30 meters tall. It was carved with dark golden ancient patterns and flashed with light from time to time. In front of the stone tablet were 8 towering divine statues that held sharp spears and exuded a murderous aura. What terrifying killing intent! Sensing the killing intent from the 8 statues, Yi Chenfeng stepped forward and said, "Nikhang, wait for me here. Watch me break through these 8 statues." "Okay, be careful." Yu Nikhang also wanted to know just how strong Yi Chenfeng was, so she stood on her tiptoes and kissed Yi Chenfeng on the cheek. "Relax. It's just 8 statues of slaughter. They pose no danger to me," Yi Chenfeng heroically declared as he looked at Yu Nikhang, who had taken the initiative to kiss him. Then, he began to walk towards the 8 statues of slaughter. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sensing Yi Chenfeng's approach, the Tinjiang tall stone tablet engraved with dark golden ancient runes immediately became restless. Streams of light shot out from the golden ancient runes on the tablet, tearing through space. With an ear-piercing sound, it attacked Yi Chenfeng. Divine Essence Pagoda, suppress. Facing the sudden attack of the stone steel, Yi Chenfeng did not hesitate to summon the supreme grade ancestral artifact, Divine Spirit Pagoda. He controlled the Divine Spirit Pagoda to smash through the streaks of dark golden flowing light and suppress the several hundred feet tall stone steel. Ka! 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 Under the suppression of the Divine Essence Pagoda, the dark golden runes on the surface of the stone steel began to shatter. They were unable to form an attack against Yi Chenfeng. A top-grade ancestral artifact. Yu Nichang's eyes lit up when she sensed the terrifying aura coming from the Divine Spirit Tower. Trespassers of the tomb of the God of Slaughter die. After controlling the God Spirit Pagoda to suppress the stone tablet, Yi Chenfeng continued forward. At this time, the 8 massacre god statues guarding the tombs seemed to have come to life. Their obsidian-like eyes shone with endless killing intent as they spoke. Invincible sword body. Just as the statue of slaughter finished speaking, Yi Chenfeng took a step forward. Yi Chenfeng took a step forward. His primordial bloodline burned, and his invincible sword physique was activated. A beam of sword light shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body, turning into a crescent moon. Like a crescent moon, it slashed towards an awakened massacre god statue. Kacha! As Yi Chunfeng activated his invincible sword body and condensed a stream of sword light to attack, the massacre idol immediately cracked. The terrifying sword might gushed into his body, smashing his legs into the hard ground. Kill! 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 The massacre god statues let out ferocious cries as they held incomparably sharp spears in their hands. They surrounded Yi Chunfeng, wanting to kill Yi Chunfeng, who had trespassed here. Sword Domain. The Tomb of Massacre was suspected to be related to the gods. The 8 statues of Massacre contained what was suspected to be divine energy, and their battle prowess was extremely strong. Facing the siege of the 8 statues of Massacre, Yi Chunfeng immediately opened up his powerful Sword Domain, borrowing the power of the domain to deal with the statues of Massacre. Domain, a complete domain. Sensing the complete domain around Yi Chunfeng, Yu Nichang's beautiful eyes widened in shock. However, when she thought of Yi Chunfeng's parents, Yu Nichang gradually relaxed. Like father, like son, with such powerful parents, Yi Chunfeng could not be mediocre. I can't believe the husband that I picked from the lower realm is so powerful. Yu Nichang could not help but smile as she thought about it. Ancestor-level Sword Soul break. After controlling the Sword Domain to resolve the crisis, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned his Ancestor-level Sword Soul. Combining the power of the Sword Domain, he slashed at one of the Massacre god statues. Kacha! Under the attack of the Ancestor-level Sword Soul, the Massacre god statue broke immediately. However, the moment the Massacre god statue broke, the divine power in its body suddenly shot out, attacking Yi Chunfeng at lightning speed. It wanted to pierce through Yi Chunfeng's body. Chaotic Dharma. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned his half-step virtual god Chaotic Dharma to block in front of him, blocking the attack of the divine light. The Chaotic Dharma was an avatar that Yi Chunfeng had condensed using the chaotic divine wood. Its body was as tough as the primitive Taoist fetus. However, under the attack of the divine light, its chest was pierced. Devour. As the chaotic Dharma's body broke, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the chaotic energy in the Dharma to suppress the divine light. He then activated the strongest devouring ability of the Dharma to devour the divine light. While the chaotic Dharma was devouring the divine light, the 7 Massacre god statues continued to attack at close range. Ancestral Swords. Yi Chunfeng did not waste any time. He raised the power of his invincible sword body to the maximum, combining it with the Sword Domain and deducing the 4 Ancestor-level Dao paintings. In an instant, tens of thousands of divine swords were formed in front of him. They flowed like a river of swords and attacked the Massacre god statues that were approaching him. Crack, crack, crack. Under the attack of the 10,000 swords returned to origin, which was a combination of Yi Chunfeng's many trump cards, the Massacre deity statues shattered one by one. Several beams of divine light shot out from their bodies and attacked Yi Chunfeng like flowing light. Chaotic Dharma continued to attack. As the 4 divine lights attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the chaotic Dharma to block with all his might. He allowed the divine lights to pierce into his body. Chaotic energy, suppress with all your might. When the 4 beams of divine light were destroying the Chaos Dharma idol, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Chaos Dharma idol with all his might to suppress the 4 beams of divine light. Then, he continued to devour and merge them with the Chaos Dharma idol, increasing its battle prowess. Impressive. Chunfeng destroyed 5 Massacre god statues in less than 10 breaths. His combat power is probably higher than mine. Seeing Yi Chunfeng shatter the Massacre god statue, Yu Rising was shocked, but she was also touched. Although she didn't know how many dangers Yi Chunfeng had experienced in the past few years, she knew that for Yi Chunfeng to be able to step into the faux god realm in such a short period of time and possess such battle strength, he had definitely gone through a narrow escape. 3,000 transformation god fist break. When the primal chaos avatar was refining the four divine lights, Yi Chenfeng suddenly appeared in front of the remaining three slaughter god statues. He unleashed a force of over 1 trillion Jin and instantly blasted out 3,000 destructive fist lights, shattering the three slaughter god statues as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, sending them flying. Swish, swish, swish. The three massacred deity statues shattered, and the last three beams of divine light shot out, attacking Yi Chenfeng at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, the chaotic Dharma stood in front of Yi Chenfeng and allowed the three divine lights to break into his body and quickly suppress and refine them. Rumble! The 8 massacre god statues were destroyed. The stone tablets that were suppressed by the divine essence pagoda trembled violently. However, the divine essence pagoda was too powerful. The stone tablets with dark golden patterns could not break free from the suppression of the divine essence pagoda. As the suppression of the divine essence pagoda grew stronger, cracks appeared on the surface of the stone tablets. Finally, the divine essence pagoda collapsed and turned into rubble. Swish, swish, swish.